right, we need a theme song.
We don't have a theme song.
Contextually yours.
Oh, it is so good.
It's good to edit out that. Are you rolling again?
Maybe. That's the point, is to get the good conversation going and hit the button.
Right.
We're very open forum here.
Yeah.
Today's show, the intention for that was going to be all about doom and gloom and, ways that the world can end.
Yeah, and I didn't write a list.
I don't need a list. I know all the ways the world can end.
Really?
All right.
I just like to keep it handy in the back of my mind.
All right, so...
I'm like one bad day away from being a supervillain, so I like to have plans.
So list them off. Let's go over it.
Well, it depends. Like, how much suffering do you want the world to get out of this? Because if you don't need any, then probably a nearby supernova gamma ray burst, which would just take out all life instantaneously. That we're probably pretty good with.
Seriously? You think that would end life? We wouldn't get all, like, superpowers and shit from a gamma ray burst?
This is not the Fantastic Four.
Son of a bitch.
And it's not the Fantastic Four sequel. And it's not the Fantastic Four reboot.
I want mutants.
Depending on how close it is, the whole planet could just fucking disintegrate.
That would destroy our entire atmosphere.
I mean, you might be alive for a couple seconds, but you'd just be floating around. You wouldn't be able to do anything. Yeah, microseconds, whatever. I mean, if you got superpowers that somehow allowed you to live a little bit longer, you wouldn't be able to do anything because you'd just be
pretty
floating
much
around in space. That
tiny infinitesimimal amount of your existence would just be a giant hot flash. It would be like death by menopause.
Nice. I'm still
my next band name.
Death by Menopause.
Death by Menopause.
That's very punk rock.
Yeah.
I guess I feel more like the biggest threat that we've got going on right now is like the whole asteroid thing, where like since we can't see jack shit in the sky, like the areas that we can actually observe are like infinitesimally small in comparison to what we can actually observe in the the night sky, whatever. That whole thing where this ginormous like planet killer, like the size of fucking 20 football fields, is just lurking out in the darkness, ready to smash the shit out of your tiny little world. That gives me a little pause.
Exactly. I think it's interesting. And of course, I was a physics major in college, so that's always an exciting topic. But trust me, you can't go from physics to art without stripping your transmission. Anyway, but I think it's amazing that we can map exoplanets around other stars and the size of them and what their orbit is and likely what their composition would be. We have no idea how many planets we have in our own solar system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was, for the doom and gloom thing, I was thinking probability being like kind of the more important metric is like... So, supernova, asteroid... Well, I guess the asteroid thing is a little more probable. But then, like, things that, like, shit we're already doing. Like, nuclear proliferation or viruses. Fucking, we're melting the permafrost. There could be some kind of fucking virus in there that would wipe us all out.
Yeah. No, I do think epidemic is probably our single biggest. If we want to talk about probability, epidemic is almost certainly what we're looking at. In fact, we're already seeing it. It's not a single epidemic either. It's antibiotic resistance.
Yeah.
The fact that we could go back to the dark ages where you could die from cutting your finger chopping onions.
And I think that's our own fault. Like, with the overuse of antibiotics.
Of course it's our own fault.
Yeah. Like we're screwing ourselves over on that.
So we did what humans seem to like to do, which is we traded tomorrow for a better today.
Yeah, that's just how we roll.
It's what global warming is, what national debt is.
I think, and that's only like part of it. And like, I also, there's the huge phenomenon of engineered diseases, of course, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and then they use like weird ass small town laboratories that are like in the middle of nowhere. And so like, then if some, if some of that shit leaks, then like, it's minimal, population area as far as where it starts, but like that could.
I grew up in a small town. I would only trust one person in that entire town to get anywhere near.
I mean, but keep in mind, this is Missouri. It's rural Missouri, in fact. We have a lot of very experienced amateur chemists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. These people going all
left and right.
Marie Curie in their barns.
Sometimes you just got to get.
How do you do chemistry in a barn? Like, can you do it with the animals in the barn?
What do you mean?
Can they be your test subjects?
Is he getting it?
I don't think
he's getting it. Not getting it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was Missouri is the capital of methamphetamine reference.
Yeah, it was.
And goddamn Missouri, really? Seriously?
Oh, God. I've never done a podcast this early.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's true.
It's
we're normally
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
We're usually just waking up.
Well, yeah. I usually have been up a while, and things have happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned the melting of the permafrost due to global warming. And then they've already been able to track viruses that are novel viruses we've never seen before that have been trapped in the ice. It's turning into an X-Files episode.
Yeah.
Like we've gone from Twilight Zone to X-Files.
What was that thing about them trying to bring back the woolly mammoth to, like, because they need to eat the vegetation to fucking cool down that area so that the permafrost isn't melting as fast or something. And one of the ideas was to clone a mammoth, and have mammoths fucking eat that vegetation or whatever.
Like, how does that even make sense?
That sounds like a lot of different internet memes all mixed up.
Well, no, here's the thing. They could take all the deer, every other animal, and just fucking put it up there to eat that vegetation, but it will only take care of about 50% of it. The other 50% back in the day was fucking woolly mammoths, and they ate a shitload more food, and so that was a legit idea.
See, that's the great part of science, is that nothing stupid is off the table.
Right.
That's how we end up with silly putty frisbees and aluminum foil.
Yeah. Aluminum foil is fun.
It's all leftovers from alien technology.
I have an idea that if you wear tinfoil hats, that you're more likely to get abducted by aliens.
Well, I mean, I think it singles you out in a crowd.
Yeah.
There's a reason that there are no Technicolor zebras.
I'm gonna make a tinfoil fedora and just rock that shit.
Yeah.
Wait, is it a real fedora or a trilby? Because that is a pet peeve of mine, motherfuckers that don't know the difference between a fedora and a trilby.
No, I mean, I want a wide-brimmed fedora.
No clue.
Indiana Jones wears a fedora. Hipsters wear trilbies.
Okay.
Fedoras have flat brims and trilbies
have the
kind of pop on it.
Yeah, okay.
So if you do Gomer Pyle
I knew
style...
fedoras had flat.
Yeah.
I knew that. So, I didn't know what the fuck a
trilby
was.
It sounds like one of those Star Trek things.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So what about the holographic universe? You buy into that?
Okay. So my theory on that is, I got really... because the entire universe is a hologram. Okay, cool. Doesn't change anything.
That is true. It does not. But
I could say the whole universe is made of Twinkies. And, it's still the same universe.
Does a certain set of information change? If it does change, consciousness of something, and therefore it could change behavior, and therefore, maybe it does change something, right?
It could potentially
I'm trying
change
to
the way
think
that
of
we attempt to
another-
measure the universe around us, but it doesn't change the way that we experience the universe.
No, that's true. It does not change the way that we experience anything. But, I mean, it could lead to, expansion in human thought and how we do view and observe the universe and interact with the universe in that particular case as well. I mean, if we start thinking outside of, 2D and 3D dimensional space and then start making leaps forward into, fourth and fifth dimension interactions, then I think at that point, yeah, it's a very valid thing.
So, speaking of on that subject, why do you think we've never met aliens? There are lots of theories on this.
Have you looked at our planet? They're like, fuck that shit.
Because we don't know how to answer the door. Doorbell's been ringing. We don't hear it. No, I don't know.
Would we even
that's a good metaphor.
Could we recognize
for a couple
alien
things,
life if we saw it?
No.
Is the question. That's a question that many
Right.
people ask. Could we even
Yeah.
recognize it?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think a lot of the whole alien theory thing is I don't really think that they're from way far out space, as you would say. I'm kind of more of an idea of an interdimensional species being able to cross through the multiverse, if you will, or whatever the case may be, to try to make contact. But yeah, there's nothing that says that we would even technically be able to perceive them as entities, at all in any way, shape, or form. So we literally could be surrounded by hundreds of thousands of aliens that we can't perceive in any way, shape, or form. That would also explain a lot of the whole supernatural phenomenon that people buy into as well. If you've got interdimensional beings that can't really interact with us, in a normal way, but then let's say, and I hate to quote movies, but we get into the theories that were posed by Interstellar, and then you've got gravitational waves being used. Or just gravity in general being used to manipulate through reality. So if you've got a stack of shit that falls off a fucking shelf, that could technically be an interdimensional being trying to get your attention.
Or fracking.
Motherfracker.
I've got a crazy idea that kind of works into the whole doom and gloom thing in a way because of our fears of AI and all that shit, but
I think AI is hot.
So the idea that we wouldn't be able to see aliens, if you take that the idea of panspermia, where species grew from the collision on Earth or whatever, life was created from an alien interaction with Earth, then if that was intentionally planted, possibly, then you would think, okay, well that's within the realm of our physical reality and what we can observe, most likely. If they're aliens just fucking spreading, spreading their seed about the universe. So then if you have the same idea that with just general, physical law and how everything is kind of works within the realm of physical law, and say you wanted to design DNA or just the starting blocks of life, and you kind of could predict exactly where they were going to go, and you could predict that there will be this advanced species, humans, and then they will eventually develop a ton of technology, and then you kind of can see where AI would develop, and then maybe that's the alien life. We just create it.
I'm going to be honest. I'm still stuck on panspermia.
And the idea of seeding
panspermia.
And the idea of seeding other warp travel or time travel. If any of these things ever can exist, they already do exist.
Right, that's that whole idea of
if time travel exists, it exists everywhere at one time.
Yes.
Which lets you know that time travel will never exist.
Or does it?
But
What about John Titor, who came out there? I mean, that was either a legit time traveler or one of the most cleverly put together hoaxes ever.
Hoax. All hoax. Everything's hoax.
If it's hoax, then I totally applaud that team.
So the most likely visitor we'll have is another Earthling, but not from this Earth. I don't mean an alternate Earth. I mean the last iteration of our solar system. We're approximately, depending on where you count and ask, we're about 4 iterations of our sun into the universe now. In other words, about 3 other stars have come and gone and then been rebuilt into new stars based on matter and all that fun stuff.
Right.
So we're about our 4th iteration of our solar system, and that's just in one galaxy in the whole universe, our neighborhood. But assuming you can't go faster than light, assuming you can't go very far very quickly, then our most likely alternate other Earth space visitor is going to be from a previous planet that existed in a previous iteration of our solar system that just didn't make it very far and kind of winds up back where they started-ish.
I would buy that.
That's my theory.
Maybe even not so much time travelers as, well, I'm still stuck on this whole interdimensional thing. Like, so if we met someone else from, a parallel timeline, and that's instead of being, time travel, if you will, it's basically just hopping, through the multiverse.
I like the idea that the AI is a pre-designed intelligence that is basically a simulation, but for all intents and purposes, it is. Totally. Get out of trash. No.
Can't believe you talk to your girlfriend like that.
He does every day. Smacks her around.
Boyfriend, okay?
That's true.
Go lay down. Go lay down. Or lay down there, whatever.
So you were saying?
There you go. I like that idea that like AI, any advanced AI, if it was like, the whole singularity thing, if that's true, that could be this like pre-designed, like it could have been a predictable intelligence by some alien race, and then for all intents and purposes, that is the alien, because if it doesn't differ in any significant way, then what else do they need to do? Like it's I don't know. That's a cool thought I had that probably has so many fucking holes in it, but I thought it was pretty cool.
As long as you put enough lens flares, nobody's going to notice the plot holes.
Well, right, and especially if if the concept of time is different across the universe, which is
well, that's a thing.
So that's a thing. So it could have taken 10 minutes, for anyone who.
Well, that's the whole thing that I'm thinking about. Like, instead of the time travel aspect, right? You've got if you're going through dimensional aspects of the multiverse, and you're crossing those barriers, it's gonna seem like time travel because different universes are going to mature at different rates. So at that point, you could have a completely superior, technologically advanced Earth, that. And then whenever they cross over to this side, we're like, primitive shitheads. And so it looks like a time travel aspect, but it's not. It's just a dimensional cross.
So like going to Lebanon.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. You just rewind. And then there's that whole thing that they just recently hypothesized about proof of the multiverse with the cold spot, where they're thinking that I'm sure you know about the cold spot in the universe.
Yes,
it's 0.000027 Fahrenheit difference in background radiation. Anyway, but they say that cold spot was possibly due to a universal collision, basically like our universe colliding with another bubble universe and all that. And so it's theorized that this could be the first concrete proof of a multiverse, which is interesting to me.
I like the term "could be proof."
could be possibly proof. maybe possibly be proof.
How Trumpian.
Yeah, it's like the same shit.
Right, yeah.
Like with the
I still want to know how this the metaphor for Lebanon is like crossing over into another dimension.
It's more, going over to a less technologically advanced, a little more primitive society.
Right,
yeah.
Why Lebanon specifically, though?
It just sprung to mind. It's on the way to St. Louis.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
The
Totally.
music store there once got hit by a meth van.
A meth van?
Yeah.
Like a mobile van
A fucking
designed to make
van ran into that music store. That's why they rebuilt that music store.
You said that, I have no idea what music store. That music store.
So
that
there's
one.
the music store in Lebanon, like the only music store that I know of in Lebanon. Evidently, and this is like secondhand, so could be full of shit. I know a vehicle hit that building, but evidently it was part of like a police chase, and it had meth in it. Like there was a meth lab in this van, and the guy just bailed out of the van. The van ran straight into the music store and exploded.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's pretty intense.
I can't help but think that one, there is a punchline to an explosion in a music store. Like there's a punchline to that somewhere.
yeah. There's definitely a joke in there somewhere.
And two, when you said meth van, I just thought of a van driving through neighborhoods with Insane Clown Posse playing over the loudspeaker and
right,
people running out, stop.
That's your ice cream man.
Going up to the little window. This is Missouri. So.
ICP.
Yeah. Hey, that could be a whole enterprise. We might be able to capitalize on that. I mean, it is Missouri and Springfield. Maybe we could make the ice cream man.
God damn it,
Trucks.
Missouri.
I run out. I hear that old bell, man. I'm fucking out there.
It's a Pavlovian response. That's why.
Yeah, I want to stop it every time.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's always good. I mean, I can never get there in time. As a kid, could I teleport? Because I could stop it then.
Yeah.
As an adult now, I'm like, I don't know if I can drive. Give me ice cream. And they're gone.
You gotta flag them down.
To be fair, when a fat, bearded man runs at you, I think you're gonna pedal that thing faster.
They got
those
Jeeps
little,
and shit
those
now.
little Jeeps.
Yeah, they don't have much protection, so.
Yeah, they need those. They need the old school ones back.
Yeah, like the old school ones actually felt more legitimate in a way.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you want that? Smashing Pumpkins drove one, right?
Well, and they showed all of the things that you could buy, so they had all the advertising built in. But now, with these little Jeeps and shit, it's weird. You feel like you're buying ice cream from Old Man Johnson down the street, who's driving around in his World War II beat up Jeep.
And they always have to stand up and reach down in there for whatever you want to see if they even have it.
Yeah.
But what's weird is it like Mary Poppins' bag? Because how is it organized down in there?
That's got to be a complete shitstorm, and you're just fucking digging through stuff.
Because it's vertical. It's not. You can't have boxes of stuff that's easy to get to. I'm very curious what their storage algorithm is.
Yeah. And the prices have astronomically increased. Inflation is through the roof on ice cream bought that way. It's insane.
Yeah, it's $2 for a tiny bomb pop.
I want one of them damn Pink Panther feet popsicles. Those were the shit.
Yeah.
Anybody?
What were they? Strawberry?
Yeah, they were strawberry, and it had a piece of bubble gum in the toe.
Oh fuck, that's right. God, that's gross. Bubblegum and ice cream should never, ever, ever go together.
Yeah, but you just throw that part away. But
did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Totally did.
I chewed that shit. Okay.
Or Choco Tacos.
Choco Tacos.
Fuck yeah, Choco Tacos. Yeah.
Does Taco Bell still sell those?
Choco Tacos?
Yeah, they had them for a while.
I have no idea.
They had chocolate taco frozen things. So they weren't called Choco Tacos. They were called Taco Bell knockoff tacos.
I thought they were called Finish You Off.
Because that's what you need from Taco Bell. Let's just throw some more calories at the end of this meal.
Yeah.
I love that Taco Bell, it is the only place in the world where you go to eat and you don't necessarily order a combo meal. I mean, you do, but that's sort of the basis of your meal. You add to it. But you don't really order based on how hungry you are or how much something costs. You order based on number of menu items.
True.
I'm going to go to Taco Bell. I think I want 7 things.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what those things are. It goes based on how many things are on your tray.
They now have nachos made from chicken. So you can buy triangular-shaped, thin-cut pieces of chicken that have been breaded and deep-fried and turned into nachos.
They are a travesty against mankind. It is representative of our era, in fact, that they're naked chicken chips, but they're not naked.
Right.
I don't know where this naked comes from. If I were covered in a very thick breading, flavored vaguely like Doritos, you wouldn't call me naked.
No.
Which, I mean, depends on the weekend, right? Like, that's...
Well, I'm fully dressed now. I might be. You just don't know.
Get all breaded up.
It is just a hologram. I am actually covered in Doritos dust at all times.
Yeah. No, I have to be fucking wasted to go to either McDonald's or Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It just never happens.
See, no, that's a weird phenomenon, and I guess it's because of Springfield. Like, White Castle.
Or White Castle.
That was...
Yeah. I've eaten at McDonald's and Taco Bell, both of those places, within the last 15 hours.
Oh, shit.
Oh! Well, it's nice meeting you. And
Taco Bell's
everything.
open. Taco Bell's great and open late.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But so is Ponchos.
Yeah, but Ponchos... I'm really unsure.
Ponchos is the shit.
I'm unsure
I love
if
Ponchos.
I don't know if it's better or
Ponchos.
worse. Like, I'm not sure.
We need sponsors.
Yeah, I love Ponchos. I don't like their crispy tacos because they're not crispy enough.
Yeah.
They're almost gummy chewy.
Well, we just lost that sponsorship.
But the soft tacos are the shit. Everything else, in fact, the stuff that isn't cheap on their menu is well worth it.
I'm down for the burritos. Like
It's the cheap stuff that I'm not as fond of.
The
But
Asada Fries burritos is quite possibly the best burrito ever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, how can
really
you go
good.
wrong? You have carne asada steak, you've got French fries, a variety of cheese,
Sponsor.
all packed into a ginormous, delicious burrito. Ponchos, Springfield, Missouri,
and it's open 24 hours. So.
and 2 locations.
Oh yeah, and one of them's right around the corner from you.
It is. Well, that one's not ever open 24 hours. They pretend to be, but they're not.
They're not?
No. They're like
The
all of a
sign
sudden-
says it?
Yeah,
but-
the sign says it. They're open. Like, sign says 24 hours and shit, and it's on. But then, like, all the lights inside are off.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, they got to
Yeah,
poop
it's kinda
sometime.
weird.
I guess
Yeah.
for hours and
you know,
hours.
And frankly, if that's all you ate, that might take a while.
Yeah.
I mean, not to tell you about my colon health or anything. But
Sometimes you just gotta really invest in your shits. Sit down with some entertainment and just let nature take its course.
that's what crack.com is for. You can just go through those articles.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, I'm 9/10 of the way through this one. I'm just going to have to wait.
I was gonna put a TV in the bathroom.
Well, we have enough monitors now.
Okay, I've seen the coolest fucking TV in a bathroom ever.
Yeah.
It's you put it behind like the mirror. You got a big mirror in your bathroom,
Oh,
and you
nice.
put a space in the wall behind it. You put the TV in, and then put the mirror back up over it. The remote control works through the mirror, and you only see the TV when it's on. When it's off, it's just still a mirror.
Nice.
That's badass.
Yeah, because the back is completely dark.
Yeah.
So I mean, it still works as a. You just have to have a mirror that doesn't have the black backing right where the TV goes.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, it looks pretty awesome. And then you put a water seal around it so it's watertight, so you don't wind up, killing your TV.
Right. Or yourself with electronics. That sounds fantastic. We should do that.
What, kill ourselves with electronics?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or,
And
bathroom.
if you've got a small one, if you get small ones, you can actually put multiple of them between the studs without having to do any real renovation.
Yeah.
And then when it comes on, it's kind of like a Minority Report sort of magic thing.
Yeah. That's kind of, and then we could integrate that with the
I can
Raspberry
just
Pis.
wave my hands around.
Yeah. That the one that the audience.
Well, you could. I don't think it would do anything practical, but it look awesome.
Well, I mean, it's for me, really.
Right. I mean, there's a mirror right there, so you're watching yourself do it anyway.
Where I work, there is like in the bathrooms, the lights are set to a sensor. So, like if you haven't no one's been in there for a while, it's complete pitch black when you first walk in. But I haven't decided whether or not it's a motion sensor or an audio sensor. But I have figured out that once I walk in and I take 2 steps, I can click my fingers and the lights turn on.
Nice.
That's my magic trick every single day when I go to work.
I got that PIR sensor we could hook up in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. I'm still thinking that I want to put a ginormous T-Rex poster at the back of the hallway of the restroom there, because like when you first walk in and those lights are off, you wouldn't be able to see it. But then when it kicks on, you'd have this huge towering T-Rex.
I mean, you could do like one of those Freddy Krueger cardboard stand-ups.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, then you just have
or
to
even
stand,
worse, Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Then
That
you
would
just have
scare
to
the shit out of me.
stand really, really still because T-Rexes can only see movement.
Right. That is true. Oh, goodness. But yeah, like the whole automated house thing, that's how we're going to die. Is AI takes over, grabs your automated
The
house.
Internet of Things that can kill you.
Oh, the Internet of Things that everything can be hacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has not been going well.
Yeah.
That and who the fuck needs? Somebody was posting the other day. Who the fuck needs a clothes washer?
Yeah.
That connects through Wi-Fi to your phone remotely, so you can start and stop your washer when you're not home.
What about your fucking crock pot? They've got crock pots that do that.
Or your toaster.
Your toaster.
Why the hell do you need a smart toaster?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest fucking thing.
I mean, if you have so little time to get ready in the morning, you want your toast to start before you get up, but you want to make sure it's nice and stale before it toasts. So you got to sit there all night while it waits for
Right,
it.
yeah, like you still have to put the shit in the toaster.
Right.
Like, why?
And look, if you do not have a minute and 45 seconds to wait for your bread to become slightly brown and a little crunchy on the outside, fucking drive through McDonald's or don't eat bread. Don't eat breakfast.
Yeah.
It is not the most important meal of the day, clearly not to you.
I wonder about a dryer. I can kind of understand because I forget shit's in the dryer all the time.
Yeah.
Laundry is the easiest task to start and the hardest to finish.
Yes, that's why lazy people always start the washer, because I'm half done. Someone else can do the dryer.
Right.
Not that I do that all the time. Every time.
You're just prone to just leaving shit in the dryer
Yeah.
for days.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mildew in the dryer. It will mildew in the washer. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember to put shit in the dryer.
Yeah.
I just don't remember to get it out.
Right.
Because I do other things and then
whoops.
See, that just shows me that you're an interesting quality human being because you have better things to do than to pull clothes out of a dryer.
Yeah, I'm not neurotypical.
Neurotypical.
I'm trying to do 10 other things.
You're cis thinking?
Sure.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Oh gosh, I didn't even do the intro or anything. Welcome to Contextually Yours podcast.
We'll do the intro in post.
Yeah,
I just figured you would edit all this out and replace it with maybe some light jazz.
That's
that Nyan Cat song was what we'll replace it with.
Yeah, some Pink Floyd maybe.
Oh, I could listen to an entire podcast of Nyan Cat.
Do you know that's Hatsune Miku? Do you know? So that little Nyan sound is a synth that does like these Japanese syllables?
Yes.
Okay, so you know about that? There's a fucking guitar pedal that will do those same synths, and I really want to get it.
Why don't you own this yet?
Because I probably will, but yeah, it sounds
your journey
crazy.
From your current band iteration to Sex Bob-omb requires that.
Right. Yeah, it does. It really does.
I think if you got that, I would probably make like dubstep tracks like to the weird sounds that pedal makes.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah, we add it to the collection of Hatsune Miku music.
Yeah.
That's thriving in Japan.
Then we can just go and tour in Japan.
Yeah, but we'd have to be holograms.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
I can do it.
Everybody's hotter as a cartoon character. That's just one of those required, known things of the universe.
Yeah. But yeah, it sounds. I think I could set it.
Nobody's real.
I think I could set that thing on a certain syllable, and it would actually sound really badass over metal. But I don't know.
So do you have a didgeridoo player?
Yes. actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you happen to see the controversy recently about an Australian gay porn that they have liberal use of a didgeridoo in the particular film?
Wow.
And yes, Aboriginal natives are offended because it was originally an Aboriginal instrument of use.
Wouldn't
That
that
might
be
be.
just like a testament to what the human body can do? Like,
I don't think you would start the entire thing.
well, yeah, but still, I mean,
It's
they're
not
pretty
like-
big around, right?
This isn't like a kebab fetish or
Like-
anything.
That'd be like
Yeah.
a form of execution at that point, like if you're going full didgeridoo on that one.
But
Yeah.
so I mean, the comment that I made when I saw the story, and I'm like, oh, that's just amazing. I said, let me point out, by the way, that the very low frequencies, I can understand why that might actually be, interesting. I'm just going to point this out. Okay, we've all been on roller coasters. We know. Anyway, the downside, of course, is that it is a wind instrument.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
there's no way practically that would work.
I mean, yeah, you are going to be blowing right into this gentleman's butthole, and I will promise you, as all things in life, what goes up must come down, and it will give back to the player. So it's like multiple fetishes at one time.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem practical. Like, I mean, even if that was a fetish, like,
And all of a sudden, Germany gets a lot more didgeridoos.
but there's no way that that's possible. Like, not
Sure, they ship.
no. Germany can get all the didgeridoos that they want, but I mean, like,
They will be glad to hear
mechanically
this.
speaking,
Alert Angela Merkel.
if you were to if you were to blow into a didgeridoo into a person's asshole, I'm pretty sure nothing. There's no way.
It depends on the angle, right? Like,
Well, I mean, if you had them impaled upon it, sure, fine, yeah, then you could have a return. But like, I mean, if it were not, like, there's no way that whatever would be coming back would be able to fill.
So
length
I
of
love the
didgeridoo.
fact that I have now implanted in your mind not just that this is a thing, but you are trying to work out how to make it happen. You
The
filthy
mechanics don't
whore.
add- The mechanics
It's-
don't add up.
psychological terrorism.
I-
So is
Not the
everyone else on this podcast now has a
not, the
visual.
not the first time I've been accused of that.
Man, good times.
So,
So we've covered
pandemics.
we covered cosmic events and ended up on didgeridoos in someone's asshole.
Yeah.
Everything comes back
So,
to ass play.
I mean, we're
That's one of
pretty
those
much-
universal constants.
I mean, we pretty much already wrapped this podcast up, really.
Done. Next one.
Yeah. No. Okay. So we discussed what pandemics, asteroid impacts, nuclear.
So, conventional
Craziness.
war. Let's discuss
Viruses.
that. That is a doomsday
Yeah.
possibility. It is. Let's
yeah,
not even go
yeah.
with nuclear. Let's go with conventional war.
I think it's all fine until China gets involved.
Yeah. Yeah. They have too many people.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, logistically, if you've got an army of that size, especially like with China, when they have to mobilize, how do you mobilize a force that large? I mean, a lot of it's going to have to be foot marched. So then when you start thinking about, a foot marching China, crossing through, through Russia, wherever they got to go, along the way, they you've got to feed, clothe, like this entire massive troop count. So, like, as far as its impact on the environment and on, just general resources, like, that's immediately going to be a huge dramatic drain, and it would completely and utterly change, the physical landscape of anywhere that army marched.
So that has been true for millennia, actually.
True. Very true.
In fact, almost all of modern culture has been shaped by not wars themselves, but essentially the movement. I mean, look at the Crusades. Don't, because they're hideous. But
Right.
take the Crusades, for example. As people traveled, they didn't just change themselves and go back home as a changed person or dead. They also left their culture along the way and picked up culture along the way as well.
Yeah, well, there's that whole a third of the population is descended from Genghis Khan.
Yeah, he
or
fucked a
whatever.
lot.
Yeah, I don't think it's that number, but it's like 10% or something. It's something crazy.
It's nuts.
Well, the Crusades. That's an interesting point. You bring that up. Do you have a bank?
I don't personally own one. No.
No, man. But I mean, like, do you use one? Do you use a bank?
Yes.
And credit cards, things like that.
No, I keep my money in a shoebox.
Yeah. I don't use credit cards, but it's not really by my choice.
True.
And I trade pubic hairs for services.
For services.
Wait,
Yes.
what's the going rate on that?
It's not very high. It's
$1
really,
because
it's a little disappointing
with
to
this
be
beard,
honest. Yeah.
any decent trim, I no, it's pubes. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
You don't know any different. Trust me, I
Good point.
can bank.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, you really just have to give it to Larry the Wizard behind the strip club. He takes them, but yeah, it's really just one guy.
That'll be more in context whenever we actually finish the skit.
Oh yeah, we have it.
Put it
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know that's funny
Larry the
because they've been saying for a while that pubic lice are possibly going extinct
That makes sense.
because of modern grooming habits, i.e., we wash our vaginas, dicks, and asses, and we like things to be trimmed and shaved a lot.
That's cool. I'm saving an endangered species. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wait, you shave down there?
Huh? No, I'm
Oh, you're saving.
I'm
Okay, got it. Sorry.
cultivating. Yeah.
My bad. Yeah.
They're like my little pets.
Trying to
Like
save
they're
a
like
life.
sea monkeys.
Yeah. Well, I taught them to do tricks and stuff too. So it's
That's exactly how you got them to start with, was doing tricks.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But banks were at the whole foundation.
I'm sorry, from pubic lice to banks. I'm sorry, I interrupted there.
I'm gonna drink.
The whole idea of how banks and credit cards and all that kind of shit got started was actually by the Knights Templar, and that's actually that's a real deal. From historically perspective, they used to whenever people were going to the Holy Land on crusade and for pilgrimages and such, they had a series of way stations set up along the way. Now, if you're on this kind of a journey, you can't take all of your shit with you because that's just ridiculous. So they would use a credit system that they developed as far as they had like a chit card that would go. So you'd get that, and you'd store all your shit in one spot, and they'd load up this card. Then you'd go to each way station. You could buy goods and services with this card, and they would be able to take that in exchange. When you got to any particular stop or to your final destination, you could cash that in and get all your stuff. And that was basically how modern banking used that system to become what it is. And so yes, complete utter blood and guts shitty phenomenon, but we do enjoy some of the fruits of the weirdness that happened at that time.
Exactly. And now globalization. I love that we still have people fighting globalization. Yeah, the globe don't give a shit about your opinion anymore. It's too late for that.
Yeah. Like I'm still waiting for my utopian Star Trek society, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, okay, so it's 2017, and by now, like in the 50s and 60s, people thought we'd have flying cars and we'd be peaceful and we have great medicine and everybody'd be happy and healthy and fantastic and
No, they
modern.
are in Norway.
All Jetsonsy and my expectations have gotten so low now. All I fucking want is a car door that will unlock when somebody's lifting on the fucking handle.
Yeah. Like with some sort of like fingerprint sensor or something?
No. I just mean physically. If you're trying to unlock the car doors and somebody's lifting on the handle, it'll unlock anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of let go of the handle. No, let go of the fucking handle.
Yeah.
Let go of the motherfucking handle. No, it's unlocked. Let go of the handle.
That's just too much to ask.
That is all I want out of modern society. And
I have screamed at my nephew
yeah, this is a universal
to
thing.
let go of the handle multiple times. Like, I've never yelled that loud before.
Like, fuck going back to
Except
the
in
moon.
that
Give me a car door that will unlock when somebody's lifting on the fucking handle.
Maybe you could pose that to Elon Musk, and maybe that would be the next project.
Yeah, Teslas don't do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Teslas already don't do that. I don't know that they have handles or doors to start with, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I know I'm talking outside of, like, way the fuck over here, but they have receding handles that go into the door, and then as you walk up to it, the handle pops out of the door.
Huh.
That's pretty amazing.
Teslas are so insane in how they're designed. They actually had an issue, I say issue, a very small potential issue with the battery that could catch on fire. It happened like twice, I think, ever. And those weren't even good examples of the issue, but everybody freaked out and people, was like, oh no, Teslas are terrible as a result. Anyway, so that's fine. No one was ever hurt, nothing was ever damaged, whatever. Anyways, but what they realized was all it would take would be lifting the car an inch further off the ground to prevent this from happening. Or I don't remember what the engineering reason was. So they did a software update, and overnight every Tesla on the planet lifted itself an extra inch up off the ground.
Holy shit.
That's badass.
Yeah. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, bam, done. No questions asked. There, shut the hell up about your battery now.
Yeah, fuck a recall. Holy shit.
Exactly. I'm like, first of all, how much planning does it take to have a car that can lift itself an extra inch off the ground forever? That's just how it's made. It's made to be, I guess, to be able to do that.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, that and the self-driving thing, I think, can be used on the older model Teslas too. I'm pretty sure. I don't know that for sure, but how they recently, because they can update the self-driving AI, but it does need the cameras. So as long as the cameras are on the car, then you can do it.
And Google self-driving cars are just, the thing is that is the way of the future, but people are going to fight it tooth and nail. But that is the way of the future.
That is, I think, the biggest, or one of the biggest job markets in the world is driver. And so once we have self-driving cars, it's going to be a shitload of people unemployed, like more than ever. And so what do we do about that?
Yeah, but people said that about, Smiths.
True.
No, I'm sorry, I make horseshoes all day. How many people are going to go out of that when we get cars?
Well,
I'm sure there was an economic downturn at
the
one
problem
point.
is we already have problems with like unskilled labor, anybody under a certain like IQ level or whatever. There's like no jobs.
There's no jobs for skilled
for
labor,
about
for fuck's sake.
10%. Well, yeah, but I mean, you have about somewhere around 10% of the population that has a very low IQ that can't handle complex tasks. Like it would take me an hour just to show them how to mow my lawn. Do we put them on disability? Like what do you do with that? Like there's no jobs for them, like literally none. So then
Yeah, but I don't mean to downplay it because those people have serious needs.
Well,
but from a job market standpoint, those people are not a factor in the job market. In all reality.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have like disability for that or whatever needs to be done about that, but my point is that the jobs that require less cognitive skill, right, are going away. So then that bar of like low cognitive skill level gets raised. And so eventually you have just people who can operate a computer. They're the only people that have jobs. And then everybody below that, all of their jobs are taken over by robots and shit. So
you are not incorrect on that. But that is the way of the future, whether we like it or not, is automation has been taking our jobs for hundreds of years now.
Yeah.
And
the acceleration rate is even higher than it used to be. So like more
I don't know that it's
things
higher
are
because there was some low-hanging fruit that took out a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Factories are a great example where everything was not hand milled. Now things are factory made. Factories were the tipping point.
Speaking of Tesla, have you seen that video where they're making the batteries? Like they show, so there's that like the conveyor thing of batteries, and they had to slow down the video like a ridiculous amount so that you could actually see the batteries, because if you don't, it's just a blur. Like they can't even capture it on camera. It's just a fucking blur.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's how fast they're making batteries.
So it's not foreigners taking your jobs, folks.
It is not.
It's AI and robots.
Most illegal immigrants that work, which is most of them, by the way, because people like things like food. Food and living somewhere. These are things that we kind of enjoy.
But Jason, don't they get that like on welfare and stuff? Don't.
I respect your sarcasm. I respect your sarcasm. Disrespect anyone that doesn't understand that sarcasm. The thing is that Americans don't want the shitty jobs.
Yeah,
that we want other people to do. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't mind cleaning the toilet at home even when it's kind of gross, because it's just a thing that I don't really care. It doesn't gross me out too much.
Right. But then when you
Shit
say like
piss, I don't care. Vomit is a pass for me. But
I think there are quite a lot of Americans that do want those jobs. They're just not culturally represented, I think.
Well, or they're not in the right place. Like if let's say that you let's say that you live in, I don't know, Lebanon, Missouri. I'm just going to pick it again just because it's a random example. And you actually wouldn't mind, picking strawberries.
Right.
Through the season.
Oh yeah.
As an example, like you wouldn't mind, you would do that job. Or avocados when you use it. Let's say avocados because it's a better example.
Hay once.
So let's say you wouldn't mind being the person who picks avocados. You wouldn't mind that job. And you know what? All those grow in California. You don't live there. It's not an option.
Right.
And you can't move to California just to pick avocados. It's not financially feasible.
Yeah.
So it's not even just that. Americans don't want those jobs. Like, I would not, like, my point about the toilets, I wouldn't want to clean toilets all day. I don't mind cleaning my own, but I don't do that all day.
Right.
And I'm not saying that people who do are better or worse than me. I'm just saying that I personally would not want to do it all day, because I would not want to do it all day and no other ulterior motive there.
Yeah.
I think after working customer service, I'd rather clean toilets all day.
Well, there's not much difference there. So.
Yeah.
But having said that, so the thing is that, I don't want to work in the sun all day. I don't want to load trucks or unload trucks or anything to do with trucks, really. All trucks are out.
I used to load and unload trucks. It was a decent job. It was a decent job back in the day. But I mean, that was when you could just blast music and not really give two shits, and you're loading crap off and onto a truck.
Yeah.
And
aren't you required to end that with "I'll tell you what"?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Well, the other thing is like
tricks.
It's good, honest work, and that's fucking true. Like that.
Is it good, honest work if you're working for a crooked organization?
Well, depends on how much you know.
Is it a matter of perspective?
Kinda,
it's like a matter of perspective.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like from your end, it's good, honest work, but you're actually like, funneling heroin to school children.
It's possible.
So you're the Secretary of Education now?
Yes. Fuck kids. They don't need no educations. Let the states decide.
So yeah. Oh, and then you have. Okay,
they don't need school lunches. Give them Jesus.
Oh wait, no. That's an interesting topic. All right, school lunch programs and all that kind of shit. We feed our children absolute fucking crap.
Yes,
absolutely.
Especially compared to the rest of the world.
Shit. And then for everyone to go, everyone's all up in arms about blah blah blah. You can't take away the school lunches. Well, like literally, I don't know if you might actually be helping by taking away those shitty school lunches. Now, that's not to say that we shouldn't replace them, but I'm saying the shit that we shovel into those kids' mouths right now is not going to help them do any learning whatsoever. You're going to help shutting their brains down and creating a complete fucking shitting worker class like fucking little drone bees. And you're going to send those drone bees out into the United States to go ahead and fulfill and completely oversaturate the way. I'm gonna
You just turned tangent there. You just turned full shack in the woods, like full shack. Never go full shack.
Well, that's the other thing about those, like, lower cognitive skill level jobs is like, well, we're not educating people to have those better jobs.
We're
either.
not. We're really not.
So
we're not helping with like artistic thinking at all. And
I think
arts is the first thing that's cut in every school program, which is unfortunate because like, it's really fucking important.
Yeah.
These skills you learn are not just, draw pretty pictures. Art is used in, the arts are used in all schools.
It is really important. I kind of wonder about, because like right now, the arts are saturated. I'm about to sneeze. The, like, TV, music, fucking, all media is fucking saturated right now. Like, you can't. Like, to make money doing that.
You are literally saying that on
impossible.
a podcast at the moment.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just pointing it out.
I don't expect to make money either. So that's why I fucking am doing more programming lately, because I want a better job, but I know I'm not going to get it playing music. So, or doing this. So, the shit is so saturated right now that it's really hard to... the thing is, it's important, but in a kind of materialistic, capitalistic society, it's considered not important because you can't
monetize it?
Back it up with you can't monetize it. You can't back it up.
Yeah.
with,
when was the last time you used
geometry
in your everyday life? I mean, I do, but doing art. But you yourself.
Yeah.
When did you last use Euclidean geometry?
I prefer non-Euclidean geometry.
I figured that's why I didn't ask you. Contrarian.
Man, it's been a while.
When was the last time
It's been years.
you actually had to calculate the hypotenuse of a right triangle?
Oh shit! Fuck. Too long.
Because I would say for me it's within the last 2 weeks, but that's just me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I have an idea. I mean, you can just fucking start a 3D engine now. Like,
Right.
you don't even have to...
Right. So my point of that, though, is that geometry, you personally didn't use, but a lot of people do. Art, not everybody uses art. But
Right.
one thing about the arts, not just art, but the arts, whether it's music, physical art, painting, writing, creative writing, whatever, is that it actually changes the way that you think and the way that you interact with the world around you. That's one of the reasons why the arts is taught in schools, or it's supposed to be.
Right.
Because it has been shown that getting somebody interested in the arts, even if they're no damn good at it. And by the way, nobody wants to read a high schooler's poem. Nobody anywhere ever, not once.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But you know what? Writing that poem is important. And learning to do that and learning the process and being walked through it is important, because that will affect the way that they think, the way they interact later on. And those skills are what make you a value-added employee.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I just don't think it's thought of that thoroughly by people that make those decisions.
That's the problem is people who work in education understand fully. People who fund education do not.
Right. Yeah, shit. I forgot where I was going.
That's a huge thing, and then we don't teach those, not even just art, that is definitely a big thing, but I mean just critical thinking. We don't teach that to our children, and then we expect them to come out as normal, adjusted human beings, and then we wonder why there's all these fucked up kids everywhere. It's because we don't actually teach them to think for themselves, and the subject matters are shit, and then we overstuff them into classrooms, and we teach them boring, monotonous crap taught by someone who barely understands it or doesn't give a shit or want to be there in the first place either. And
so I'm not going to go after the teacher on that one, because most teachers that are doing it are not doing it for the money.
Now, that really depends. Now there are some. Yes, some who don't. Some
like all jobs, there are good and bad teachers. I think we've all had shitty teachers at some point.
Oh yeah.
But in general, I'm not going to go after the messenger on this one. But the message is easy. When your entire focus is prepping students for standardized testing, and by standardized, national or regional standardized, which means your curriculum, technically it's set by your school district, but the reality is that it's set by the state or the federal government, because it has to meet those exacting standards, and that's fine for testing, but it doesn't give much flexibility.
Yeah. That is for shit sure. The standardized testing thing, I think, needs to go away. Like, I think that's crap. Like, I mean, and why would we use standardized testing against a population that already is shown to be, you know, as far as the rest of the world, drastically undereducated?
Well, when they tied funding to standardized testing.
Yeah, and there's the problem.
So that's a problem. So, I mean, and I love the idea, love being, again, sarcasm, because I said it, therefore it's sarcastic, that underperforming schools will have their budgets cut. That's not how it fucking works.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. You're not doing well. We're going to take resources away from you. You better improve.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it also has to do with like with the whether teachers are shitty or not. It has to do with like that market as well. Like the fucking, if a teacher can't get a different job, you know, like they kind of are doing it for the money, even though it's not much money. Like,
I mean, everybody works for
they
money.
Need a job. Yeah, but yeah, I had a lot of shitty teachers. A couple of good ones though.
But yeah, like middle school. Oh, I cannot imagine how terrible being a middle school teacher is. That is the worst age for kids.
Oh yeah.
They're old enough to be shits and not old enough to know better.
Yeah. Sometimes I get the reverse ideas also, because I sometimes think that most young children should be fitted with shock collars, so that you know.
Not like an intense shock.
Just a nice little
reminder to know your place.
But that would not, help develop.
And tranquilizer darts.
Tranquilizer darts.
Yeah.
Just give them a little laudanum.
So the last step is tranquilizer darts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so tranquilizer darts are actually quite dangerous, but I will say that you can give them a couple Benadryl with almost no side effects.
Right. But then, if you can't get close enough to them,
that's a pet peeve of mine in movies and TV shows. Not to change too much, but in movies and TV shows, it is a huge pet peeve of mine when someone gets knocked unconscious, or whatever, they're punched in the face and now they're unconscious, and suddenly they wake up somewhere else. And, oh no, they're fine. Let's just keep this thing going. That is not how the world works. If you are knocked unconscious, it is entirely likely you've got some brain swelling going on.
Concussion, or
you're gonna need some MRI work.
I got choked out once and fucking passed out. That was fun.
Ooh, tell us more.
Didn't everyone do that as a child?
Was this on video?
It was. I don't know. I don't think it was. This MMA fighter dude was like, we're all drinking, and he's like, let me choke somebody out.
And you're like, hey.
Well, I've never fucking passed out randomly before. Let's do this. And then, so I was the fucking idiot that did it. And then it was crazy because I had probably hung out with these people for maybe less than a year. I didn't know them all that well. But I knew everybody at the party. Weird thing was, when I came to and I saw like people standing over me, I seriously thought, where the fuck am I and who are these people? Like, I had no clue. And it took a good felt like a while to be like, oh fuck, okay.
Yeah, apoxia fucks you up really bad.
Yeah.
And why?
I would be much smarter today if not for that experience, probably.
Nice.
Assuming, by the way, it was probably only for a couple of seconds, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, but apparently it
yeah, I mean, when I went out they were saying like I was unconscious for only like a second.
Yeah.
This is when.
Oh no, but your brain reboots, like hard reboots, and like Windows, it's like boot from what drive?
Right. Yeah. So that was fun.
Damn.
And that was also at a cop's house. The kid's dad, who owned the house, was a cop, I think, and then we had a bunch of minors drinking there. That was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say that on a podcast.
Well, I mean,
am I incriminating myself?
Hang on.
I didn't buy any of the booze.
Wait. Did the owner of the house own the mine that they worked in?
Because there was a bunch of underage minors.
You didn't say underage. You just said minors. Dumbass.
That's true.
I'm the one that has to come up with your cover story? Really?
I don't know. Shit.
So, okay, here's an odd question. I know because I'm asking it. What is the strangest job you have ever had?
Oh, wow. The strangest job for me was, I think I was about 18, and I'd ran away and joined a traveling sideshow. And I traveled as a production manager and as a clown. It was a weird happenstance because we traveled in a broke down box ambulance that we had bought like super cheap, so we had kind of retrofitted it. And
what the hell's a box ambulance?
like it's an older school ambulance, just a fucking ambulance, an old black and white.
Okay, sorry, just it was an extra word I was not used to there.
You couldn't start it with a key because like the ignition was all jacked up, so we used to have to start it with a screwdriver because the ignition switch was hanging out the bottom.
Nice.
But we traveled all over the Midwest and stuff, doing shows, playing for whoever would take us. We did.
I know when I think of circus, I think of a broken down ambulance.
That's true.
I mean,
That's very true.
This sounds like an independent film, and
It really should
Like
be.
you didn't know this at the time. It wasn't really a true circus. It was just you were bank robbers. That was your cover.
Well, I mean, we sometimes we would sell drugs to make it to the next stop.
I was going the other angle.
That was a
with
given. You need to include that.
I was going the other angle with it with indie film, like more of the vibe of like Garden State, but you're a circus.
Maybe I should write this.
Like Garden State, only somebody watched it.
Right? Yeah.
I should actually try to script this out. It's just memoirs of my life.
Just that.
So you were a clown, you said.
Yeah, I did a clown act. It was a really rude, jacked up clown, mostly because I knew, like, from a psychological standpoint, a lot of people don't like clowns at all. So I took all of my rage and my hatred for the general populace as a young youth and funneled that into this character. And I had two versions of him. I had what I called Ralph the disgruntled clown, who was the asshole, and then I also had Jimmy the retarded clown.
This sounds culturally appropriate.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. But
Send your hate mail to
Contextually or
Jimmy, the
podcast@gmail.com.
developmentally challenged clown.
Right, but Jimmy actually opened so many doors at venues because people I really did go full method acting on it. So like I would spend hours getting ready beforehand, and I would stay in character until well after the show. But people thought that I was legitimately developmentally challenged, and I got all sorts of free stuff at shows and gigs, free drinks no matter what, because
Please just tell me that no women put out for Jimmy the retarded clown.
No, but for Ralph, you'd be really fucking surprised.
I would not be surprised at all. But for Jimmy, I'm a little distred by the concept.
Yeah.
Especially if you have to method act through the whole experience.
Yeah, Jimmy, he had a lisp and everything, and he had he had a speech issue, and people would seriously applaud him, he was this developmentally challenged guy who was doing all this stuff, and it was really weird to watch the crowd interaction during the whole thing and how they would basically try to spur on the character, and it was
that is the weirdest combination of sweet, sad, and pathetic.
I know. And that was me. That was all
if
my
you're still
fault.
listening, if you're still listening, we will see you in hell.
Yeah. We did, we would do club shows, we would do Renaissance festivals, because, we would basically cater the show to go period for, a Ren Fair if we needed to. We had belly dancers, fire breathers, fire jugglers, magicians, blah, 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 bug eaters, sword swallowers, all that kind of crap.
Were the bug eaters and the sword swallowers the same people, or were they different people?
They were different.
Did they just have swallow classes?
Yeah.
This was a thing.
We didn't have anybody doing light bulbs, though.
It's swallow school.
Yeah, Swallow School. That should actually be a school.
No, that's a porn series.
Swallow School. Oh my God,
There
it's
is.
not, it should be.
It's called band camp.
Rule 34.
So, when I was in college, I was a singing telegram.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And actually, in a way different, less shakes the clown type of experience as yours. If you've not seen Shakes the Clown, Bobcat Goldthwait referred to it as the Citizen Kane of alcoholic clown movies.
That's pretty fantastic.
I do agree. It's a real fucking great.
I love Bobcat.
It has Florence Henderson as a clown fucking junkie. So that's always a nice start to a film.
Like as a junkie who fucks clowns.
Yes, or a junkie for fucking clowns.
Yeah.
Well,
that makes sense. We've experienced some weird things.
And the plot of the movie is that it's the circus clowns versus the birthday clown, or the rodeo clowns versus the birthday clowns.
See, now in real life, I would never want to get into a tussle with a rodeo clown.
They were the tough clowns, of course.
Those guys are legit.
The other guys, they thought the birthday clowns were pussies. Anyway, so I was a clown as well. I actually wasn't a clown for the Singing Telegram, but I had to fill in as a clown occasionally. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Kids hate clowns.
They really do.
I was a terrible fucking clown. I thought I'd be fine at it.
That, and kids also hate substitute teachers. So if you're a substitute clown,
exactly.
It's really...
Man, I wrote a short script about that, actually, about being a birthday clown, and it revolved around this guy who was a chronic alcoholic who was also a kid's birthday clown. And he goes to this gig, and he's like, utterly hates life and all this kind of stuff, and these kids just keep fucking with him, and then he finally blows his brains out at a kid's birthday party. It was a happy story.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, another dead clown? Yeah. Happy story.
Yeah.
So most of the Singing Telegram gigs that I did were as a flasher.
Wow.
I would go generally to people's work most of the time. Private homes are always creepy. And I would go in character and wearing a trench coat and a dickie. In case you don't know what dickie is, it's a fake top shirt. Basically, like you've got a colored shirt on, but you don't. And
right.
People wear them under cardigans and things, so they're cooler. But as a flasher, it worked out really well for that as well. And fake pant legs that were elasticized from the knees down. So that was always great fun to drive around town dressed like this. Because, of course, the trench coat would ride up a bit. You'd see a peak of leg.
Oh.
It's very sexy.
Some ankle.
So then I would go into usually people's work, and I would just abuse them verbally and embarrass them and make them dance with me as I sang to them a cappella, mess with their stuff, and ask personal questions in front of coworkers. It was radically inappropriate.
Awesome.
And I was real fucking good at it. One place I went to the same place 3 times. Like, aren't you? I'm actually saying, aren't you people sick of this crap yet?
Right.
Like, this is my 3rd time here. At this point, we're dating.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then I would flash them at the end of a song and hand them a balloon and leave. I did have underwear on, of course, because
you got paid for this, and it wasn't just like for fun, right?
I did get paid for this, yes. Not as much as you'd like to think, but there were some things you don't do for the money, you do for the life experience.
That's very true.
I can't think of a fucking... I've had so many
Is your
jobs.
life that lame? You've never done anything completely nuts?
You've never done the crazy job, because we've both been clowns.
Maybe that's what... For our social experiment...
I've had,
You've never been a clown to start with this.
Specific projects that were a little...
I mean, professionally a clown. Personally, maybe, but...
Yeah, I got paid for it.
Yep, money.
Right, yeah.
Not much, but you do it for the love of the show.
I am probably still a mugger on a promo for Crime Stoppers in Colorado that plays before movies.
Nice. I've always wondered about people who do that kind of thing, that they are now the syphilis guy forever.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I was like, I don't want to drive through Colorado after this. I'll get pulled over. Just because of the subconscious connection between any cop that's seen a movie in the last couple of months.
When I played a mugger in that Sato film, apparently I got told that I looked way too accurate for the part.
Yeah. FYI, just in case somebody's not familiar with Sato, definitely hit the T a little harder on that, because you actually said I was a mugger in that Sato film.
That's true. Wow.
Nice.
I'm open.
Yeah.
I'm open.
You were, eh?
I'm totally open to playing a mugger in a Sato Say-do film. I'm just putting that out there.
Consonants are fucking important.
They are.
Yeah.
So one thing about, and I think you alluded to this as well, something about being in character. When you go into character, whether that is in acting or even in, singing a song, if you're, or as, in a costume, once you go into character, if you can get away with it, if you know what you're doing, if it's for you, you do take on a different personality, and that isn't like something else taking over you. It just opens up it closes the gate of fear. And suddenly you just go with it because you're liberated. It's really an interesting experience.
Well, and I think you're like kind of putting some kind of barrier between your own like identity and this.
Right. Anything
persona.
you do, you are no longer responsible for it psychologically. Legally, still very responsible.
Right.
FYI.
Right. Yeah.
Having been a man who flashed people for money, I assure you.
Right, yeah.
It's always been a weird thing for me, like with the acting stuff. Like I at first didn't really give two shits about theater. Like I thought it was cool and everything, but I was a musician. I'm a classically trained bassist. When I was living in Las Vegas, I was actually supposed to be ending up in Juilliard, but then my family uprooted and moved to the Midwest. At that point, when I moved out here, the schools that I went to didn't have an orchestral program, and I was like, well, fuck that. I'm not playing fucking stupid band shit. Y'all can blow me. So then I got into theater after that. My grandmother was an actress and kind of got me into the whole thing. She used to fucking wake me up at I was living with her for a little bit when I first got to town, to St. Louis area, and she would wake me up at 2 a.m. to watch whatever old movie was on. So she had decided that this was important to my education, as a human in general.
It sounds like you're telling me the end of La La Land, by the way.
Almost.
I'm just saying, I'm expecting you to break out into The Fools Who Dream.
If I'm going to break out into anything, it'd probably be something from 1776, because that was the big one that she made me watch all the time. That, or Maltese Falcon.
I love these Maltese Falcon.
Casablanca. I mean, I knew almost the entire dialogue to Casablanca by the time that I was 14. Just because those were the things that we would do together. And my grandmother was my best friend at the time. It's weird, sure, whatever, I don't care. She was a fucking awesome chick.
My grandma was fucking badass.
But
mine too.
They also did reenactments. They in Fort Deschartres, they do the reenactment of the French and Indian War, Rendezvous, and all that. And they were both my grandmother and grandfather were both real big into that. My grandfather taught me how to throw a tomahawk, all that kind of shit. Anyway, so she got me into acting, and then I started doing acting in high school. Did anything that I didn't act in. I also did tech theater for and stuff, so I built sets and all that kind of shit, and then ran lights and did sound. It's actually my first exposure to sound work. But the acting aspect of it, if I was gonna play, if I even had a shitty small role in a play where I was playing a World War II, soldier, I would watch copious amounts of World War II shit to kind of put myself in that situation. If I were in this, how would I react? And then I would try to move that over to the character. And
it's funny you say that, because that is one of those constant criticisms about film and TV that I see a lot. And, I love pop culture. I love to dissect pop culture, and I love to enjoy other people who do the same, so that's nice. It's the language we speak in our modern culture. But one of the things that people are both driven crazy by, but also we require, sort of what you'd said there, you would watch movies to see how other people portrayed something. Now, I think virtually anyone, and I'm not an expert in this area for sure, who has been in a close quarters land war will tell you that film does not capture that.
Sure.
Nor can it, and in some ways nor should it, because that's not what stories are. That's just a bunch of shit.
Right.
Stories require people where you can see their emotions physically, where you can hear their dialogue, where they convey things but those shorthands, those things that we are all used to, which are trite and stereotype and silly, but we can't go on without them.
I think we're doing a lot better job now in actually portraying a lot of that kind of stuff, like the blood and guts aspect of it.
Well, you also just have one camera. You don't have eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can't do
I was telling you the other day, man. I had gotten this huge depressive spin. For those of you who don't know me, I am diagnosed with major depressive disorder. But anyway, I had gone on this spin where, I really started just kind of having this down swing, just kind of thinking of all this most horrendous shit that's ever happened in my life. And then, all of a sudden, I shifted gears, and then I started thinking about, and I'm naturally, I guess not naturally, but I'm obsessed with World War II. I don't know why, but it's just a point in time that I am fixated with. And I started thinking about the German regulars, and I'm not talking about the Nazi, douchebags and all that kind of shit, but I'm talking about actual German regular soldiers who didn't know jack shit from anything, who were stuffed in the middle of this war, who had no idea what the fuck was going on. And then I started thinking about their interpretations of what was happening around them, having no idea why they were engaged in this war, why they were fighting these other people, why these guys were bad and these guys were not bad. They had no idea about the whole, Nazi agenda and all that kind of shit. And then my head was just filled with all of these
So even if you're not depressed, your thought process is still dark as fuck.
See, I don't even think of that as dark, to be honest. Maybe that's me. That's not even dark enough for me to be dark.
It's like a throwback to All Quiet on the Western Front, and I'm just kind of.
That was World War I, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, but just as far as the aspect of soldiers who had no idea why they were fighting someone else, and then came to the realization that man, you're just another fucking person across this line.
Yep.
So World War II is the easy go-to war. Not to downplay it, it's kind of a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
But it's the easy go-to war for discussion points because it sort of has villains. It has heroes and villains.
Yeah. It does, but
in most other wars, we don't get that luxury.
That's true. But also, and the weird bit about World War II is, did you know, the whole Eastern and Western Front thing, those were two completely fucking separate wars that happened simultaneously?
Oh, yeah.
That's, for people who don't realize that's a mind-blowing game changer.
Well, in the West, we don't think much about Russia as, fighting a war with Germany.
Yeah.
But, Russia fought a real big fucking war with Germany. And in fact, lost more troops than any other country.
Yeah.
Including Germany, I might add.
Yeah. And that was a weird turnaround because in the beginning, they were somewhat placated, and Germany somewhat placated Russia. And they were hey, no, it's cool. We're just going to do this. Everything's fine. It's all good. And then they were oh, yeah, just kidding. We're going to invade you. And then all hell broke loose. This is weird for a podcast, right?
Is it? To me, it's just dinner conversation.
I know.
Just eat bread.
Nothing's weird for a podcast.
Everything's better with bread.
Yeah. Unless you're not into eating bread, then I guess.
Well,
so
I am bread sexual.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. That's gross. I did, however, run into one guy that he had a wheat bread fetish.
Really? That's
straight up wheat bread fetish.
Why specifically wheat bread?
Okay, so
because wheat bread's better for you.
So hang on. I wondered about the same damn thing because this profile was stellar in how bizarre it was that he wanted somebody to, and this is going to get real goddamn graphic. It involves penises and rectums and another penis. Lots of penis. Anyway, but
so all these dicks and some bread.
I know. Well, you know what? 49.9% of the population has a penis.
Yeah.
Almost all men on Earth.
Almost.
Not Trump, but
that's a lot. That's a lot of dicks.
Anyway,
that's a lot of dicks.
But so he had a wheat bread fetish that he wanted a guy to stuff his mouth full of wheat bread and then piss in his mouth and then fuck him.
Weird.
Whoa.
Which part was weird?
But wait.
By the way, your roommate is covering his face like the answer to why this is to forget this is inside his hands.
I think the stuffing wheat bread in somebody's mouth and then pissing on them.
Well, why would you ruin the flavor of wheat bread?
Yeah. Well,
so as it turns out, hang on. So again, I saw this profile again, and I sent this to 400 people or something. I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Because this is one of those things that you need other people to experience.
Yeah.
With you. Of course, I did not meet this person, and if this person happens to be listening, I'm sure you're a lovely, charming human being who is good to animals.
True.
But.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I mentioned this to a friend of mine. I'm like, oh my God, you got to see this. Facebook message over. He's like, oh, no. I'm like, you got to read this whole. No, I don't. I said, no, you really do. He's like, no, I don't. I met the guy. I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. My friend's like, I met the guy. I didn't know about this fetish till after he showed up. He showed up with a loaf of bread. I thought, well, maybe he's going to be hungry later.
Oh, he'll be hungry.
He's going to make some sandwiches.
And,
yeah, he'll be hungry.
I just, like, it did not go well.
That's a really weird, specific fetish.
He said his stepfather forced him to eat wheat bread, so he wanted to be punished. I don't know. It was some stupid.
Okay.
That doesn't even sound like a real story.
Well, I mean, I guess from that, if that were true, that aspect of it does make sense, like the whole punishment thing. But like, it's very.
It doesn't seem like a reward, at the very least.
It's very niche, like that's.
It's very specific, I mean, there are things that you ask a total stranger to do, and things you maybe should keep to yourself. And I will say this. One thing I can absolutely guarantee you, and I'm not even judging him for the weird fetish. It is a weird fetish, but hey, whatever, it's his deal. Go for it. You're not hurting anybody. Although he did say he was gluten intolerant, so
that's fucking weird.
That was the other part of it. So there was
Whoa.
So you're
naughty factor, I know,
Whoa.
like you wouldn't expect. Anyway,
that's hardcore.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you just don't spring that on a total stranger. Like, hey, I bought a loaf of bread just in case.
If you're at a fetish party,
now,
maybe that'd be okay.
There's cheese. There's deli meat. There's peanut butter. So all these things you can put on wheat bread. I've never tried urine.
So maybe you're the one that's missing out.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I just need to expand my horizons.
Maybe it's like French cooking when you have to put multiple things together that probably would taste like shit separately, but then together they're
so
fantastic.
Okay, hang on. So he was gluten intolerant, so the wheat bread was part of a naughty thing. Are you?
That's fucked
maybe
up.
you're urine intolerant.
Maybe, maybe that's it.
You haven't tried the piss.
Which, by the way, to each his own. You're not hurting anybody. Fucking do it. That's whatever. That's awesome. No, but it is very interesting, to say the least.
That is pretty wild.
I love how you're tap dancing around a point because it's taboo and you're afraid to say it. Just say it, motherfucker.
No, okay, yeah, it's fucked up. But no, what I like. It's funny how people freak out about scat porn and all that shit, and it's like, well, it's not like there are any. I mean,
I love that we have to draw this out.
They're probably
that's just how it talks.
They probably run companies and shit. They're perfectly normal people.
Well, it's like when we did the BDSM podcast with Sarah. I had made the point that a lot of people who are into that community are actually extremely well-adjusted individuals, and a lot of them are successful in life.
Well, so part of that, absolutely, and I'm sad to have missed out on that one, by the way. Part of that is that very often you will find people who are in positions of power sexually feel the desire to give up power. They become submissive during sex. Yeah. And it is a balance, because in their day-to-day life, they are the ones who make decisions and the ones who control. And so when it comes time for them to unwind, someone else needs to be in charge. So for them, it can be a balance. Now, that's not true all the time. You also have people that are dominant all the time, or submissive all the time. And then you've got the 50 Shades whatever series, which is just shit all the time.
I think switches.
Basically, it's scat porn when they never poop.
I like switches. There's nothing wrong with that.
You mean like branches off a tree?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Well, yes, but in that context of
it's a very Midwestern.
Go get me a switch.
Yeah, switch.
That's not what I meant, Grandpa.
Wow, that'd be an interesting conversation. Yeah. So that topic.
So yeah, Grandpa got a ball gag or what? I don't know. Nobody played on that. Nobody picked up.
That sounds like something
where I was going there.
Wait.
Now I just sounded terrible. I should have said it right after you said, "No, Grandpa, that wasn't what I was talking about."
Oh yeah.
But I'm not that quick today.
Yeah, so I'm officially at the point where I've hit the daddy phase of homo life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? What does that mean to be a daddy?
So that just means that I'm, at this point, I've aged out of the system of being like a trendy gay kind of bi guy, bi light. I'm not a twink, which is young thin, and I'm not really a bear, which is heavier and more muscular. I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
But the beard helps a lot. The beard is a big draw.
But why?
Settling down phase or something?
So yeah, I get young guys that will hit on me, and they'll always start out I'm like, "Hey, daddy."
Oh, okay.
Hey.
I see what you mean.
I've got 2 daughters that call me that, so it's a little creepy.
Yeah.
Now that they've just gone to dad, they're old enough to just say dad instead of daddy. It's no longer as creepy. But.
Even in heterosexual sex, like that's still creepy. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's always been weird to me.
Yeah.
I never understood that.
The first time I tolerated somebody calling me daddy was actually the first time that I had sex with a Hispanic man.
Well, I guess that's more of a cultural thing.
It's because this was some time back, and
if porn has taught us anything, it's a cultural thing.
I did not know at the time that you could moan in another language. Because
I still didn't know that until you just said that.
I just it's sort of like, how do I want to say this? I wasn't on the mouth end. It was pointed away, and from that end of things, I just hear this soft whimpering, and then it turns into
It's like
they were teaching me to roll, like when they teach you in Spanish class to roll your R's.
Yeah.
Probably would have been more effective with that method.
Yeah, exactly. And then I hear like, and then I realize he's saying "Oh, pappy," and then it clicks. He's calling me daddy, and I'm like, "Oh, well, that ain't bad. I can take that. That's okay."
Yeah.
Need to fuck more non-English speakers until it gets less creepy.
I don't think I ever had a girl call me daddy.
I would like to sample something from the Russian menu. That's just the thing. That's the thing that I have.
Yeah.
See, the problem when you say Russian girls, this is something a lot of straight guys say. Russian girls.
Yeah.
But first of all, Russia's really fucking big and covers a lot of different types of culture.
Yeah, it does.
So when you say Russian girls, what you really mean is a porn site that says Russian girls.
I really I want a fucking
the accent
Moscow minx.
Yeah, you want Disney's Anastasia with a vagina.
Yes. I mean,
you filthy fuck.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if that could be a cosplay thing, I'm down. It's fine.
How could you cosplay Anastasia? She's just a chick wearing clothes.
Yeah, but
until she's
actually, I dated a chick
clothes.
who dressed in a similar fashion, and I wonder if that's a fetish that I just didn't realize I had.
She just looked homeless?
Yeah, a little bit. Like homeless but trendy. Like
oh, homeless but trendy. Yeah,
it was like
we call that boho now.
Boho? Like, I don't know, I think I can get behind that.
It's short for bohemian, only with an extra O.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if her name's Svetlana or Masha or, I think I could deal.
What about Moesha?
Well, that could be a thing too. I'm definitely open to multiculturalism.
Oh, good.
Within the sexual sphere.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you kind of not a dick, so that's a plus.
I have types I'm kind of more into maybe, but that'll be search terms. But other than that,
no,
I'm totally open.
No, search terms are different. Those are sacrosanct. Nobody gets to know those.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
I mean, if I met somebody that matched every search term,
which is
seriously, oh my God, that would be
kind of insane when you actually look at the top search result, like search terms for.
Oh yeah, Pornhub releases that regularly because Pornhub loves to fuck with people.
Yeah,
I mean, and that kills me. But yeah, it's
the latest one that's trending right now is fidget spinners, and yet there's no fidget spinner porn.
Oh, there's gonna be.
There's gonna be for sure.
There's gonna be because
there wasn't recently. And there probably is now by the time
Because
I'm saying this,
somebody's going to use that against, some porn actress's clit. She's going to pretend like it feels good.
Right. Yeah.
When in fact you touch it once, it would stop spinning. Right. Like, oh, I'm sorry, here, let me punch you in the juicy bits. It'll be really hot.
I'm sure that's probably a thing.
My
That's definitely a
nephew
thing.
left a fidget spinner over here, and I played bass with it. It actually worked.
I've seen videos of that. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so it might work on a clit. I don't know. I'll have to try that out. So yeah,
I think you'd have better luck with the bass, personally.
I feel like if that were a thing, I would probably have to try to turn it into an art project where I'm stuffing some sort of conical item into the vagina and then putting the fidget spinner on top or maybe on nipples and yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
like spinning plates, or
Yeah, kind of like spinning plates.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. Yeah.
Maybe some soft Calliope music in the background.
I cannot imagine anything less sexy than the situation you just described.
But I want to do it in the dark.
Hillary Clinton naked, way sexier than what you just said.
Kill all the things right there.
And I love Hillary, but bitch, keep
speaking about seeing aliens and not knowing they were aliens.
Oh, we're talking about Hillary being an alien.
Well,
actually, that I would normally on because I love some Hillary, but it would explain why she kept wearing those weird used carpet outfits. You know what I'm talking about here? She kept wearing these jackets that looked like they were made out of clearance carpet bin remnants.
They're now
solid as a rock.
There's an interesting thing with that. Yes, that is a thing. But have you ever noticed people's personalities? Who there was a guy that I was sort of kind of friends with at work, who I truly believe might have or currently is a sociopath. I don't think that he has real emotions. I think he's attempting to
replicate them.
Yeah,
I have known people that.
Oh yeah,
I'm certain we're doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very creepy thing. So I'm really I have a toss up between sociopath or alien, and I'm unsure which way to go with that.
So interestingly, the super old timey term for psychologist was actually called an alienist. So there you go.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I am Wikipedia made life.
Well, cheers to that.
So yeah, I need supposed to drink. That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah,
Wait, what are you drinking? Because that really does look like piss.
That's
if you've got a problem with your fucking kidneys or something, maybe.
Long Island iced tea.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. To each his own. Iced piss, I guess, is the thing.
Yeah, sometimes.
There's no reason you couldn't ice it.
Yeah, I suppose that could be a thing. Mm-hmm.
Also, are you an expert on urine color? Because I don't really know what color everyone else's urine is.
I think that's kind of dark.
It does look a little dark to me too.
Yeah. I don't know. I've eaten a lot of vitamins and it's never come out like that. So.
Oh no, vitamins are just a way to make expensive colored pee.
Well, depending on
you could just have spinach.
The other minerals you have in your system.
A mineral
that help you absorb
or
things.
something.
Like magnesium or what's the other one?
Don't you get a lot of magnesium from sensory depth floating?
Yes.
Since they've got all that magnesium in the salt.
Yes.
It's super healthy dose.
It's pretty great.
It is pretty great.
Floating's good for all kinds of shit. I still need to find out that there's that condition where is it cortisol? I think people are lacking cortisol or something, and they're I could be wrong about that, but their joints and muscles get all weird, and they're fucking their bones just pop out of place randomly.
Is that the one where they're super thin and tall and lanky? That thing?
Generally, I think, but it's not.
I think it's a body fat thing where they literally.
It's
have no
a very
body fat.
rare condition, and they've just started getting solid diagnosis on it, like where they can actually say this person has it. And I wish I could remember what it's called.
So,
But that has helped. There was one person that I met that floating was like the only thing that helped that. Because they get in the tank and there's no gravity weighing down on them, it just kind of like lets everything set back into place. It's pretty amazing. Can't remember what it's called though.
It does feel like floating in outer space a little bit.
Yeah,
it's warmer, one would hope.
Yeah.
Or colder, depending on where you are.
Definitely warmer, and, there's oxygen.
But see, people assume outer space would be cold.
Yeah.
But it's actually not. If you're in direct sunlight,
Yeah.
it's very, very hot. That's why spacesuits have to be shielded and insulated.
Yeah. So you can prepare for either or scenario.
Right. Because if you're in direct sunlight, it's very hot. Because you can imagine just standing in direct sunlight on Earth with all of the shielding.
But then you're like up close and personal without, any sort of barrier. So,
I had a point. It's gone. It flew away. It's sad with butterfly wings.
It's better. Probably it's a better conversation than Russian girls.
So,
congenital adrenal hyperplasia, I believe.
Rolls right off the tongue.
I think that's what it is. I could also be looking up the wrong fucking thing, but pretty sure that's it. So anyway.
So your hyperplasia something or other business.
Yeah. That's just like a pretty obscure, weird condition that I never really thought about that floating like helps. With some people, it is the only thing that helps.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah.
That is wild shit.
Yeah.
Complete.
That and the people with like chronic joint pain everywhere, fibromyalgia. Yeah, that too.
Wow.
Yeah, it's uplifting.
Yeah. Well, there's hope. There's hope for people with fibromyalgia. You sit in a box of space.
Yeah.
Helps you out.
Boxes of space.
We go back to Elon Musk again. Everything goes back to Elon Musk.
Everything should go back to Elon
I'm afraid
Musk.
if I say his name 3 times, he'll appear.
Hey, that would be so amazing. Let's do it. Everybody, come on, 1, 2, 3. I want to go to Mars, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, we have to do a summoning circle for it
that,
now.
and we would.
I've got that on tap if you need that.
Not only that, we would definitely get sponsors after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
If we had
killed.
Elon Musk on the show.
Yeah.
Or killed.
I mean, it's a risk, but isn't life?
Yeah. I mean, why not? Fuck it all.
He just what was that? He just invested a bunch of money into
What?
You told me about this, I think.
Oh, into
Right?
AI, getting AI
Into-
faster so that he can give it away.
Yeah, so speaking of AI, which you brought up earlier too, Google's AI is now being tasked to create new AI. I don't know if you've seen this or not.
Isn't it really soon for that? Like, shouldn't we?
Isn't that how Skynet happens?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we've got an AI that is designing and building an AI.
Yeah. Somebody,
This seems so odd to me.
I was having a conversation online, just kind of back and forth with somebody that, as far as I know, I don't know the guy very well, but I worked with him. He works in IT, pretty smart dude, and he's like, no, we have nothing to worry about with AI because this and this and this. And I was like, but as a thought experiment. And I went over all this shit, and I'm like, just as a thought experiment, with me not knowing, like, not being, like, really into it, not knowing the code behind it, just the idea that, I know that we input that code, but then what if we have an AI making an AI that same idea? How do we know for sure that we're actually, looking at every single possibility and all this other stuff? And
Well, you never know that.
he didn't really. Yeah, right. Well, and then I gave the example of when they tested the atomic bomb originally. They didn't know what it was going to do 100%. they're very sure, to a negligible margin of error, but there was that little margin of error that said we could set the atmosphere on fire. But there were actual scientists that thought that was a possibility, and yet we tested it anyway. And so, like, I brought up that and some other stuff, and his arguments, like, I could kind of just say, okay, well, you might know more about it than I do, and just leave it at that, and I trust your judgment on this. But he didn't really give me a very convincing argument. So
here's what I'll say: the fear of AI, which I understand anything can be fearful, especially the new. The fear of AI is overblown, only in the sense that what are we afraid of? We're afraid we will create life.
Right.
Okay. We as a species.
I don't think it's that at all.
Yeah, we as a species don't give two flying shits about life. certainly other species. So I don't see why we should care. We certainly don't about any other species. We're happy to extinguish them.
Well,
one we can unplug sounds pretty efficient.
Yeah, but I don't think we can.
We don't have to melt polar ice caps for that one.
But I think the problem is when we can't unplug it. Like, here's the thing that it's not the creating life. It's creating hyper intelligent life that can grow more and more exponentially intelligent over a very short amount of time that would just look at us like ants.
Well, it wouldn't look at us like ants because it would not look at us like anything. I mean,
yeah, but that might or might not be a good thing. Like, it's not the fear of something bad happening necessarily. It's just the fear of the unknown. It's just like...
Right, that's what the fear of the unknown is. It's a fear that we all have. We're genetically coded for it.
I think it's because we've watched all of these horrible sci-fi movies where AI takes over. So we're afraid that if we build this machine that it's going to decide that we're obsolete and that we need to be disposed of, to serve ourselves better. So, a way to protect humanity from its greatest threat itself would be to eliminate it in general, or turn us.
But that's still also
pets.
That's still also an illogical conclusion, which would probably not happen.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
we still need illegal immigrants to pick our avocados, for
not
example.
when the fucking crazy fucking hover machines come in and pick your cotton for you, or oranges or whatever the hell crop.
I just say if it's a new god, I'm there.
Everyone welcome our robot overlords.
Speaking of new god, the television series American Gods is playing right now.
Love it.
And
we gotta watch that.
I love the idea of it. I am watching it and I'm enjoying what's there, but I'm going to say at this moment in time, we are 4 out of 8 episodes into this season. We are halfway through, and we are still within the fucking pilot. We're still within the first episode, plot-wise.
I was gonna ask, have you read the book?
I have not read the book.
Okay.
So I'm not going to judge it by that, even if I have.
You need to seriously read the book. Everything will be in context at that point.
No.
And have you ever seen Rubicon?
So
they only had 1 season, but it was amazing.
Well, here's what I'll say. It's even if I've read books, I always judge different media separately.
Yes.
Always. Because you should. I mean, and actually, so I'm a big fan of Brian Fuller, who's doing this show. He also did Hannibal, which is very similar to Hannibal from an aesthetic standpoint. I cannot believe Hannibal played on network television.
Yeah.
That was on NBC, and I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Yeah, that was really good.
Oh, look how artistically inside out that person is. It was the goriest thing I think I've ever seen in any TV show, and I cannot believe that was on network TV. Anyway.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
It was a great show, but it was very disturbing and very, very, very dark. But then he also did Pushing Daisies, which is probably my favorite TV series of all time. It was the opposite of dark. It was light and bright. Had an underlying darkness, but it was goofy.
Yeah.
I've got two. Like, if we're talking favorite TV shows ever, like one
TV shoes?
TV shows. Suddenly, I became Canadian.
Tell us more.
Well, I mean, for two television shows that I absolutely and utterly adore. One of which was Firefly, because I'm that guy. But the second was Dead Like Me.
Also, Brian Fuller.
Fucking fantastic. I loved the concept. I loved just everything about the show. It was absolutely great.
Yeah. And he also did Wonder Falls, which was only on for 2 seasons.
I think I did see like an episode of that, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
I guess so.
I like Dead Like Me up to a point.
So, Dead Like Me, I loved the setup, and then after a while, the series just sort of petered out for me.
Yeah,
but to be honest with you, Brian Fuller created it, and then worked on it for a while, and then left. And I think once he left, they started going, I don't know, I don't know if it was directly related to that, but he wasn't on it very long.
I'm also absolutely enamored with Vikings, but I'm culturally biased on that. So.
Yeah, shouldn't you have more beard in order to enjoy that?
I should, but like I haven't really committed to doing the full beard yet.
What do you commit? You have to don't cut it.
Yeah, I know, but like I have weird
You have to commit to
idiosyncrasies.
laziness.
And like I'll go to where it's starting, and then like I'll be like I have to shave. It's like a compulsion.
Really?
Yeah,
Maybe start shaving your crotch instead. Just get it out of the way somewhere else.
maybe.
I wish I could grow like a big beard.
Yeah.
I get patchy and I look homeless.
Like,
Like,
I've
that's
even-
the most I can do.
Yeah,
picked
it
out
would,
beard.
it would sex you up quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Get your beard going. I've even picked
Can't
out
do
fucking
it.
beard jewelry, like in the event.
Yeah,
that
I
get a full
mean
beard.
Viking style. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those beads and shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, I had to trim mine back quite a bit. It was quite a bit longer for a while.
The only problem is if you did that, we would have to make time to start a metal band. Like we would have to.
Nice.
So I see these guys that, you know, I'm going to be honest, that look pretty damn homeless
Yeah.
with these massive, massive beards. And I'm thinking, I gotta like moisturize and use beard oil and, you know, trim and, you know, all these other things. Just like, and homeless people have got that kick-ass beard. What the fuck am I doing wrong?
Yeah. It's just, you're not using like natural grease to line your beard with.
That would be
condition.
it.
You're not like, you know, killing a chicken and then like cooking it on an open flame and then covering your face in
So
chicken fat.
more barrel chicken.
Yeah. More barrel chicken.
I think my hair is just slowly. I think it just all started to go on strike,
Yeah.
and it's just slowly moving to certain other parts of my body.
Which hair? Hang on, I'm looking.
Just not like what was up here.
Okay.
What was on my head. I miss having. I look at old pictures of myself and I'm like, fuck, I was hot.
I like.
And I didn't take advantage of it.
And I don't mean this like as like a weird, like an insult or anything weird, but like I really
Yeah, it's still
think
kind of hot.
I really think that you could do. I think you could do a good De Niro from Taxi Driver. Like you've got.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Like I really think that could be a thing. Like if for like a costume.
I was thinking
deal.
of getting like a hawk, like
tattooed on the side of your head.
like a man weave.
like a mohawk fucking wig.
Yeah,
I was thinking of getting one.
that would be kind of dope.
Just a little hawk merkin.
Yeah.
Hawk American. I've seriously also considered shaving the undersides and sides of my head for just a single, you know, long strip in the center, and then getting a runic compass tattooed on the side. And
So I cannot stand having hair on the sides of my head. It drives me insane. So I usually keep it very clipped. And for a long time, it was completely shaved.
I had to do that when I was doing the military shit, but
I've done the military too, but you know they didn't really care what my hair looked like.
I did the baby military.
I
I
was-
didn't actually commit to fully joining. I just did ROTC.
Oh, I never joined. I've just done the military.
Oh, that's okay. There you go. I like how you work that in.
That's awesome.
That was a smooth transition.
To be fair, okay, so I know that I've done somebody from the Navy. Definitely
Of
Marines.
course.
Definitely Marines.
Really?
Army, yeah. And Army, I'm not sure if you've ever done the Coast Guard.
Are you like fucking collecting them like Pokemon cards? And just
See,
like,
I'm not. So I've also done a priest.
wait, seriously?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that's the rest of the podcast.
So anyway, but I've never done. So I've done a priest, a preacher, like a Baptist preacher, or Catholic priest. I've never done a rabbi.
Wait, a Catholic priest? Did you make him wear the collar?
No.
That's less hot.
Anyway, I only found out afterward. During confession. Not mine, his. Okay, anyway. But I've done a rabbi. So rabbi, yes, I'm still missing that card, and I am a completist. So FYI out there, you know how to contact me.
You need a board, like for reals.
So I've thought about making like Boy Scout patches for these things and putting them on a sash.
Oh my god, that would be so perfect.
Or like a McDonald's Monopoly board where you put stickers on. Like I've got to get a complete set. Got to catch them all.
That should be a thing. Like you should seriously do that.
So I don't know if we should go into the weird dynamics.
You've already crossed into weird.
Nothing's ever weird to me.
It only feels weird at first.
And after a while, you really get into it.
Yeah, you just get used to it.
You just have to relax.
How, collecting lays on a board.
You make it sound like potato chips.
Free toast.
The different contexts of doing that, because to me, I don't know, and fucking just feel free to call me a piece of shit, but
you piece of shit.
I would think that gay dude would be the most acceptable of collecting lays on a board right now. Then there's if it's a guy doing it, then there's a political correct backlash on it. And then if it's a woman doing it, then she's considered a slut or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't make the double standard.
I think that
loose chicks are sluts and loose guys are pieces of shit, usury douchebags.
Right.
Gay guys get a pass. We get to fuck each other as much as we want to in any possible way. People are like, either that's fine or doesn't affect me or ew, gross. And, either way, we don't care.
So, okay. So I'm not crazy for...
Yes, completely. But not for this reason.
Oh, okay.
I don't discount your ability to not be sane.
Okay.
But in this instance, I do agree with you that culturally, you've got two factions. Either people who do not give a shit, and those people just, what one guy does to another guy, whatever, it's not their business, they don't care. But they don't look at it as a power imbalance unless there's a major age imbalance. The kind of the father-son, not actual literal, the actual father-son, I did meet a couple like that one time.
Wow.
And it was what a lovely offer, but no thank you.
That's a bit much.
It was...
Yeah.
Well, that's a new thing that's just entered my awareness of the world.
Really?
I guess I never thought about it. That I'm sure had I been I wonder if that exists. Yes. You
already mentioned Rule 34.
It was just... Yeah, well, true. Yeah.
Everything exists.
Yeah,
everything.
True. Yeah.
Everything is somebody's kink. So a friend of mine told me she'd been having an affair with this older gentleman, older than her, not old, but older than her. She professional gentleman, and it was fun. She was fucking. He was very submissive, and she enjoyed that. Then he really loved it so much that he decided he wanted his son to be able to enjoy this as well. So he asked if she would please dominate him and peg him while he hid in the closet and watched.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah, it was. I'm like,
yeah,
what? Ew. She's like, I didn't think you'd mind. I said, honestly, I don't give a shit about you fucking the son. It doesn't bother me. Him sitting in the closet and watching.
Is it really funny that the right is starting to use the word cuck a lot, and yet those are the same kind of people that would probably be...
That fucking...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I heard that was a thing, I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me?
I hear somebody use that phrase or I see it, and instantly I know that person's opinion is pointless.
I immediately think of
totally.
I immediately think of The Princess Bride, and I'm like, I do not think you keep using that word, but I do not think you know what it means.
Yeah, exactly. You keep saying that. I don't think it means what you think that it means.
Because we're talking about, people in power wanting to,
And I
have moments of.
And I have known
submissive-
people in a cuckold relationship.
Yeah.
Where the man would enjoy his wife having sex with other men, often either while he watched or just come home and tell him about it. And that's their thing. That's their dynamic.
Like, why? I don't get why you gotta
my-
label it like that. Why don't you just call it an open relationship? Like,
Well, because it's not an open relationship.
because the other dude's not.
It is specifically not an open relationship in the sense that it is not about either party doing their own thing. It is about both parties agreeing on a very specific thing.
True.
Yeah.
See, now, and then that's a very interesting thing, especially within modern relationship aspects and stuff. Like within a relationship, an adult relationship, I believe that communication is absolutely key.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like, if that is going to be a thing, the fact that you have this pre-agreed upon arrangement, like, I think that is what is the special thing, the thing that
Yeah.
actually
Right, that's
holds
the
it
basis.
together.
I mean, it kind of doesn't matter what it is you do as long as you both agree to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, just straight up honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoy hearing any girl I'm dating talking about other girls that she's been with.
That's true. You have
So-
decided to date exclusively bisexual
That
women.
is great. I haven't decided. It just happens for some reason, which I have no problems with. But yeah, it's generally like who's attracted to me and who I'm attracted to is just ends up being like the majority of them are bisexual.
So what you just said is very cool, little hetero weird, but very cool. I will also say that I'm so sorry. It's so sad because you just said that most of the girls that would date me are bisexual. So the only girls that will date you are girls that know there's another option.
Oh.
Sick burn.
Oh. Ow.
I'm so sorry. No, anyway, sorry. I joke, but
No. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just a weird dynamic.
So one thing I've found being a whore is that when you are around people that are very sexually open, they tend to be very open in other parts of their life as well.
Yeah.
And especially when you wind up with people who are involved in, I don't want to say the swinger lifestyle because that's a very specific thing, but in much more of an open sexual lifestyle, in a group sense, in a social sense. While they may be very radically different in the way they live their lives or particular rules or interests they follow, and certainly their beliefs and actions, there is sort of an underlying commonality of openness to new experiences and to open communication. I'll be honest, I've made some fantastic lifelong friends from casual sex parties. Like, that are close lifelong friends
So
because...
you're like a bonobo.
Which is not
like a bonobo, thank you.
which is not the common cultural narrative, right? Like that's not like
Not to you, but...
well, no, but I mean, culturally, like people tend to think that like just casual sex and that is kind of like hollow and not
Well, that's just because that's
you know what I mean?
That's
Right.
And we currently try.
And
to
I
add all this other
it's
shit.
not that I believe that at all. I believe the opposite, but like
So sometime back, I was going through a divorce, and I was going through cancer treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, so that was exciting, at the same time. And so I went to see a therapist because my work would pay for it. Sure, why not? He asked why I was there. I'm like, because I can, because it's free. If there's ever time to do it, it might be now.
Yeah.
So, as it turned out, the divorce side of it, that just needed to happen. That really wasn't a question. I pretended it was a question, but it was not. The cancer thing wasn't optional, and I was dealing with that just fine. It's not like I could do anything about it. What I wound up talking to him more than anything is to see, am I a sex addict? Is that a thing? As it turned out, he said no. But, I mean, my friends did want me to get that in writing. He refused to do a certificate. I did ask. And I remember what the defining question was. He said, does sex make you feel like a better person? Does it make you feel like you have a better, does it make you feel like, well, like I said, like a better person, where he said it another way and I can't remember. But anyway, and I'm like, no, it's just fucking.
Well, that, and you can kind of chase that, right? Like, especially like people who are like, maybe they're virgins for a long time and they feel like pieces of shit because they've never gotten laid. And like, it's not that big a deal. Like, just, if you really want to get it out of the way, get a hooker, man. Like,
I'm a big fan of legalizing prostitution.
I have two friends that are virgins that, like, I seriously had thought, like, do I want to try to, like, get them laid, or do I want to let them just go ahead and live their life, maybe sacrifice one in the catacombs of Paris, maybe, I don't know. But
have you tried hooking them up?
Yeah, well, I thought about it, but there's like, they seem really unconcerned, about the thing. So,
I mean,
like,
to be fair, they may actually be non-sexual. Yeah. There are plenty of asexual people in the world.
Supposedly they're not. But, I mean...
I think it depends on how comfortable they are with it, but there are people that, like, attach morality to, like...
Right.
To sex, and it's really kind of weird.
So my response to the question is, does sex make you feel like a better person, or like you have to have it, or whatever? I said, not really. I said, think of it this way. You know how some people, get together every Tuesday night, and they get together with a bunch of friends at the bowling alley, and they bowl a few rounds, they have a few drinks, and they sort of chat and laugh a little bit, and then when they're done, they go home, and they don't really need to bowl. If they bowl again, fine, it's not related to that. And then next week they do it all over again. It's great. It's a standing appointment with friends just to hang out and do stuff.
Right.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I don't bowl.
Yeah, that's that. I believe that is a thing. Like,
and so that was it. It was just a social thing. The fact that there was fucking going on is just, it was fun.
Well,
it was a lot of fun.
And then if you look at it, because I think that also goes into that, like, the moral thing. Because, like, if you look at it from just a fucking raw species perspective, like, you look at bonobos, like, they have sex socially. They don't have sex just to procreate.
Just watch a documentary on bonobos?
No, but it is something we bring up often.
Thank you. Okay,
I listen to a lot of shit, podcasts and whatever. But yeah, they have sex socially.
I think we've mentioned this on
not just
5 podcasts so far.
Not just for procreation, and so humans, I think, are the same way. But then the the repression of Puritanism and all that shit, like, that sex is supposed to be only for procreation and all that shit. So, like,
puritanical bullshit.
By the way, the Puritans were not sexually repressed. It was the Quakers that were.
True.
Okay. Correction. But that idea, I think, is like, for one, if you're in the tribe and you can't, like, I don't know, spread your DNA,
semen,
if you can't create these, I think it gets compounded, because I think if you were in a tribe where you weren't getting laid, you would probably feel a little bad, at least at first, that you weren't kind of contributing to the proliferation of the species, right?
People or bonobos? Which are we on now?
Just people.
Because you don't mix the two. That's how HIV happens.
Right. But if we're talking about like hunter-gatherer communities,
you should laugh out loud.
talking about like hunter-gatherer societies, you would probably, and I'm just guessing, but like I would say that if I'm the only male in the, or what, I guess it wouldn't really matter, but if I'm the only one in the tribe not getting laid, I'd probably feel bad about it.
Do you equate this to your first sexual experience, like the first time that you fucked? Like,
this sounds like because
you were
your first
like
year of college. You're talking about, right?
I was like the odd
you
one
were
out.
the odd duck out.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
true.
Yeah,
that is true. So maybe you would feel bad about just not non-proliferate, like you're not contributing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, but then like that gets compounded with those.
This is like a really dirty little golden book.
Beliefs.
Only in this is like a really dirty little golden book. Only the tiny little sad unlaid monkey is really a metaphor for you.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I'm sorry.
It's probably true though.
But I hear the chime will turn the page.
But yeah, like I would think that those well, not puritanical, but whatever the fuck.
Quaketanical. Yes.
Quaketanical beliefs would just kind of like amplify that feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then now, you know, if dude's is still a virgin, and with women, I think it might be easier. I don't know.
Coming from pagan stock, man, fucking was A-okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. Having been involved in many group activities, large group activities.
Orgies.
Orgy is a term that gets thrown around. It's not really. It's a social event.
Yes.
You know, but
the Romans had
open sexual get-togethers.
Romans also had vomitoriums.
Yeah, well, that was part of it actually. You would. It was the orgy and buffet. Like,
yeah.
you would.
By the way, the vomitorium does not. That's not where you throw up. The vomitorium is just an arch where you leave something.
Yes.
It's just a door.
I just say
the
ignorant
exit.
shit all the time.
Anyway, but
and get corrected later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But on the upside, you are kind of adorable.
Oh, thank you.
It's like this is when I pinch the cheeks.
We mentioned
the top ones.
Like we mentioned, like all this Roman shit, and just like I was thinking about swear words all of a sudden, like the way that we like if we were gonna cast dispersions upon a person, the Romans were really fucking good at that shit. Like just the way that they would. Like curse a person, like in their like in specific terms, like their eyes, their liver, their heart, like that. I love that shit. I really think we need to bring that shit back. Sadly, we don't. And
well, some of us do.
Yeah,
I cast dispersions all the time,
specifically on someone's specific organs.
Well, I mean, not all organs. There are some
Liver's
that
a pretty safe bet for most of our friends.
That's true.
Fuck your pancreas. Fuck it so hard. No, this doesn't come up. Like, that's not what I'm not screaming that at other drivers.
Yes.
Although I may start now.
Yeah.
I hope your fucking lungs collapse.
That's hardcore.
Like tomorrow. After eating a bagel.
Why a bagel? Like why?
We're talking about specificity, all right?
Yeah, I mean, when would you use this? Because it's not like somebody's going to steal his herd.
Fuck your locks. You're sad.
By the way, I saw a news story the other day that just killed me. Speaking of stealing your herd, in that somebody had stolen 1 million bees. Like they found this big moving truck semi that they pulled over, and when they opened it up, there were 1 million bees inside.
That's fucking weird.
I mean, not like just hanging out. They were in hives and shit, but there were bees inside. Somebody had stolen 1 million bees, and they'd stolen them from people's apiaries, which is the term for bee farm.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm like, there's such a thing as bee rustlers.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
Bee rustlers. Like cattle rustling.
I don't know how you should feel about that because we
easier
definitely
to transport.
need more bees, right?
We're pro bee. Yeah, we're taking that hardcore stance here.
So if somebody steals them, if they're that dedicated to more bees, it's kind of like, I mean, it sucks for the person who got their bees stolen, but aren't you like a little happy that somebody's that into helping out?
I see where you're going. Stop going there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, they do charge a lot of money to rent out bees. Bee rental is a thing. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
Yes, bee rental is a thing. It's because, let's say you own an apple orchard. You can either hope you have enough bees to pollinate your apple trees, or you hire somebody who is an apiarist, whatever. Anyway, to come out and you rent the bees, and they come out and they will pollinate all of your trees. and then come back to their hive and, make little honey. And then when you're all done pollinating your trees, they pack up and go on to another crop.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it ensures that all of your apples make all the trees make all the apples they can, for example.
That does make sense.
Yes. So bee rental is a big deal in commercial. Because if you think about it, nature never really intended apples to be a commercial crop. First of all, we modified them so much through breeding that they never went to look like that. But even then, we never
Isn't there only didn't there used to be more species of apples?
Tons more, yes.
You ever seen what a watermelon used to look like before it became
they were
fertilized?
gross.
Apparently they tasted like shit, too.
Yeah, they looked sort of like a loofah. No, literally, they looked like a loofah inside with tiny little pockets of fruit.
They were apparently sour and shit.
But so we've modified all these things through breeding, etc. But crossbreeding and things. But
there are no grapes. I know that there's no grapes native to America.
Correct. They are an old world crop.
Yeah.
Every avocado you've ever eaten comes from the same tree. I mean, one tree. Literally one tree. The Haas avocado, which is the most common one in America, the one that everybody uses. The Haas avocado comes from one tree. It's been grafted. They don't plant new avocado trees, they graft them. So from one initial tree, they would cut off a part of it and then put it on another tree and do that. And they've continued the species since then. Ever since then, it's been grafts from the original Haas avocado tree.
That's pretty wild.
So I mean, there are multiple trees at this point, but they all came from grafts to the original tree or grafts from the grafts.
So where was that original tree?
Somewhere in California, one would assume. But
is avocado native to America? To the Americas?
I believe it's native to the Americas. Yes.
Yeah. I find it hard to keep calling, we don't live in America. We live on America, but we live in the United States.
So that's a thing, and thank you for mentioning this, because that is, I have 4 dogs, about 50 fish, and about 1 million peeves. I have many pets, and that is one of them. And oddly enough, while I am sort of a purist on language, I am perfectly fine with calling the United States just America for short.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because, yes, we get it. We're not that egotistical. We don't understand that Canada exists, and Mexico exists, and Belize exists, and Cuba exists, and Haiti exists. We get it. We own maps now.
Yes.
Easy to find. We call it America because try to give a name to people from America based on the name of our country. We're United States of Americans. That is a fucking mouthful.
So you don't think USA was enough?
What would you call someone from the USA?
USAians?
My point exactly. You had a stroke halfway through that word.
United Statesians.
United Statians. Yeah, no. The thing is that we call it America because it's just fucking easier. It's the last word in the name of the damn country. Yeah. Let's be honest, we've got kind of a goofy name for a country. United States of America.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's like Irelandia or anything.
Yeah. Maybe it should be.
Irelandians.
Maybe it's the time for a rebranding.
Yeah.
We could really use one.
I mean, we already we're on our way to that anyway.
I mean, at this point, we pretty much new-coked ourselves right now.
Yeah.
So yes, we need to go back to America Classic.
Yeah.
But no, so that's why. I mean, I've got friends in Mexico who, have given the same complaint. Like, oh no, you're not all America. It's not all of America. Like, we get it.
Yes.
But you can call yourself Mexicans. There is no such thing as United States of Americans. That is stupid.
And Mexican friends, if you're listening, we would love to do a podcast from Mexico City. Just saying.
That too. But and by the way, they've already heard this rant from me because it drives me crazy. It's not. Now, one interesting factoid, FYI, is that many other countries in the world or many other areas of the world don't consider North and South America 2 different continents.
Yeah.
They consider it 1 continent. So it's not North and South America, it's just America for all of it.
But then
they only have 6 continents in their school.
Huh.
It's one of those things that makes sense when you hear it, but otherwise you would wind up in a flame war online arguing there are 7 continents, you stupid bitch.
Well, it's like
Yeah, but, like
You wouldn't think we could just
the
lose a continent.
connection between North and South America is pretty, thin. I mean,
But
you
it's
have, and
You mean
yet-
Panama?
you have, if you're looking at land masses, like you would think, well, in that case, Europe and Russia, like, wouldn't that be one giant continent?
technically it is.
Yeah.
Eurasia, FYI.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just.
And yes, there are some schools of thought that believe that is call that one continent, and they have 5 continents they teach.
with Eurasia, and we have always been at war with Eurasia. Sorry, 1984.
Africa's not too far off from that. I think Africa is connected by more land than, like, the width of Panama, right? Like,
Well, there's a whole lot of continent there,
yeah,
but we still refer to everyone from an African country as being African.
right.
So, on the subject of Panama, by the way, Panama is described by the worst English word that exists. Some people will say that word is moist, and they are wrong.
That is wrong.
The word moist is not terribly pleasant,
I find it just fine.
but at least you can have a moist cake and you're not grossed out by it.
Yeah.
But there is no use of this word that people.
Isthmus.
Yes. I dare say it out loud.
Isthmus. Isthmus.
Isthmus.
I'm just gonna say fuck you.
Yeah.
Isthmus.
A narrow strip of land with sea on either side, forming a link between 2 larger areas of land.
Right.
So
yes.
the Isthmus of Panama.
Yeah, it doesn't have like the same
Yeah.
gravitas as like a tundra. Or,
Right, Isthmus. It's ISTH. That should not fucking happen in our language. We cannot say that consonant combination.
Yeah.
It's like something like it's like an insult you'd hear from a person of British origin,
A very gay British person, which
Yeah.
is real fucking British.
like a robot, like
So-
a robot from.
Because we can't tell the difference between gay people and British people anyway.
Okay, now
There's
I
no
have a
difference.
theory. You can't tell the difference between gay people and then highly Christian people.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
That is the thing.
Yeah. Chris Lee knows best. I don't know if you've seen this reality show. My partner's addicted to it. Chris Lee knows best. Like, he's super hardcore right wing and flaming.
Nice.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I guess I had the advantage of growing up with a gay best friend. So like I got a lot of the intro to the world growing up. But
It's
still,
a lot of pressure to put on one person.
that is true. Like when he came out, like it was tragic because like he was like crying and he's like, I'm gay. And we're like, well, we know.
Do you not feed your roommate?
That's okay.
Feed your roommate. He looks sad.
Donovan.
He'll be all right.
He's gonna eat some bread and urine.
Yeah.
Wheat bread.
You
Lovely.
gotta pee on that bread, man.
The flavor combination
Make
is
sure you
amazing.
pee on that bread.
It's a purification
full of
ritual.
riboflavin.
Speaking
So,
of, well, the purification rituals and pee, and then the whole sex thing too, like, and then the pagan origin. What I suddenly got worked in. They used to jerk off. Used to jerk off on crops to ensure a beautiful, excellent harvest. There was a time when they would send young men out into the field to jerk off on the crops to ensure a beautiful.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a part of that.
I mean, at least there's a corollary there, and it also explains why the sock industry is doing so well in America.
That's true.
Hey,
I always lose that one, just that one.
you're talking
Maybe that
about
explains the shoes on the side of the road. Somebody's confused on
That's
footwear.
true. It's not territory markers.
you're talking about language and definitions and how you're like kind of obsessed with that. So then, when there is a like what changes the definition of a word? The whole like if the majority of people.
So I
'Cause
am
the-
not one of those people that is a traditionalist in the sense that I do think words have pejorative meanings that can change.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I am not rigid on that because
But-
language is representative of the culture and words have new meanings and new words come into existence.
But doesn't the modern usage of the word literally really piss you off?
So
Literally.
Okay, so the problem is that it's meant to be sarcastic. And
I mean, I can see how maybe that was the beginning
Right.
of that.
That was the idea.
Yeah, so the problem is that if you're using literally as sarcasm, then you can get away with it because it's sarcasm. You can get away with pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Anyway, but the problem is that when you have stupid people who don't understand sarcasm,
Right.
you know, those people fuck it up for everyone.
True.
True.
For example, I once worked with a gentleman who, in a call center, who was taken aside by a manager because during a monitoring session, he said, she said that, or the customer said that something sucks, and he replied back, that's bullshit. And
Okay.
so he was pulled in, like, you can't say that on the phone. And he's a very literal person, definitely high functioning Asperger's. And anyway, they're like, no, you can't say that. But I can say sucks if you have to, yeah. So I can refer to oral sex, but I can't refer to excrement. That's not what that refers to.
Yeah.
It did not work. There was no hope in this coaching.
Yeah.
Like, no, just don't say either.
Colloquialism being lost.
Some people just don't
Yeah.
get it. And for whatever reason, whether they can't or they don't.
Yeah, I found that interesting because I had a roommate, smart guy, really like legitimately smart guy, would say literally and use it in the wrong context all the fucking time.
You know, it's
and
just
it drove me insane.
So that's a speech mannerism more than vocabulary.
Yeah,
and speech mannerisms are hard to correct. The only way you can really correct a speech mannerism is constant and unending torment. You just have to make it hurt.
Yeah.
Man, I once worked at a call center job where we used to take our own soup calls because there was no one available to be able to take said soup calls, or they didn't want to take
With a Russian
soup calls.
accent?
Sometimes, or depending. I used to always do English actually because people would tend to respond better to an English accent as being a symbol of authority, at least according to our Americans. Anyway, one of our female workers at the time had gotten a call from a person who called himself Pleasure, and he had problems with a webcam that wouldn't function. So, right, and then things started to escalate from there. And she put the phone on mute, and she looks over at me, and she's like, it's your last, like just like your last day. Can you please take this soup call for me? And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then she gave me the lowdown of what was going on with Mr. Pleasure. So like I spent the entire call like trying. It turned into one of those weird instances where you knew that it was a complete shit call and like a complete
likely troll.
Yeah, a complete troll. So then like you decided you had to walk that line of how much you wanted to play with the troll versus just fucking cut the shit loose.
That gray zone is where I live my life. Every minute of every day.
I enjoy that line.
I have a really good story about that. This woman that, I don't know, have I mentioned that story on the podcast before? The woman that called in and said that there was a, I don't know, factory or company nearby that was doing thought control experiments on her and shit. Okay, so I get a call. This is when I was doing tech support, and this woman is like, "Oh yeah, I have." I don't even remember what her issue was, because the issue with the computer itself was like something really simple. We got out of the way really quick, and it was not a problem. And she just kept going with this crazy fucking story about they're doing mind control experiments on her. They had broken into her house, and she's like, and they kicked my teeth in, and blah, 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 and they broke the light bulbs in my house, and just crazy shit, right? And I'm like going over the course of the call, and this all is coming out gradually. And she seems like a nice enough lady. She likes me. And it's kind of funny because she's like paranoid as fuck.
Yeah.
And yet you trust a major corporation with your personal details.
That sounds like a beautiful story, Doris.
Kind of funny.
That's a wonderful blue dress on you. Perhaps you should take that pot roast out of the oven.
Right. So then I'm starting to put two and two together, and I could tell like by her voice that she didn't have front teeth. I could tell like by the way she was talking. So then I started putting two and two
not
together.
her address in Arkansas.
Right. So so then I started putting these things together. No light bulbs, no front teeth, and she said she couldn't sleep because of the fucking like mind control shit, whatever. So she couldn't sleep, and I'm like, oh, math. It was like fucking so obvious that she was just hallucinating so much shit. And then one thing that she said that I almost cracked up laughing out loud, which she goes, she said, yeah, well, because I'm just like at this point trying to do damage control and kind of get her off the phone gradually, but like you have to kind of interact. So I'm like, and to be honest, I kind of really liked the call. I wanted it to go on forever because it was so fucking batshit crazy. And so I was like, she's like, I talked to this one woman that seemed, or I asked her, do you have anybody you can go to, and talk about this stuff? And she's like, well, I'm kind of afraid to, but I did meet this one nice lady and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and she told me that I should go see a counselor, but I'm not crazy. And I just fucking almost lost it.
Oh, yeah.
And then, eventually I was like, oh, okay, well, have a nice day. She gave me a fucking good review and everything. Like,
that's pretty beautiful.
My favorite thing anyone ever said to me on the phone, and I've got a ton of crazy stories, a ton of them. But my favorite thing anybody ever said to me personally was the person was just screaming, like crazy off the hook screaming because they were pissed off about the issue. And no amount of calming him down was possible, and that's fine because I didn't care at that point. But anyway, so he's like hyperventilating. He's been screaming so much. He's like, oh, I hate you people. You ruined my life. Life ruiner.
I love that.
And I mean, you could actually hear his fist shaking in the air as he screams, Life Ruiner! I had a name tag that said Life Ruiner for years. Like, I would still put it on my resume if I could find a spot for it.
Beautiful.
Because I think that's a pretty marketable job skill.
Yeah, well, especially in customer service, right?
I mean, other people, you're like, sure, you can, code in C++, but I can ruin your fucking life.
I had never done fucking customer service until I moved here. Like,
I know anyone listening to this maybe thinks that we're terrible people, but work in customer service for like a week.
Oh, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
And it's your fault, really.
I spent 10 years in operations
it's
management, and then I came and I had to fucking take a 9-to-5 shit job, going back to doing that menial task and then having to actually fucking hit a time clock again was a complete social shock to me.
Working retail is worse than customer service, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's pretty bad. Well, I work chat primarily now, and I don't think people have a filter at all on chat. And I think that when I did work retail, there was at least somebody face to face with you.
So I agree with you.
Kind of knows that if you were to snap, that you could punch them in the face.
Right. No, I agree with that. But here's the problem: is that they can see my face too.
Right.
Which means I can't just mute it and go, "Oh, are you fucking kidding me?"
True.
Are you serious?
And then you'd scream that shit, and then you're packed in like sardines. So then the next person over from you who was on a call, then their caller's like, "Why did that guy just say what the fuck?"
Yeah.
Oh no, man, it had nothing to do with you. It's you know.
So one time, I remember one time the person that was next to me when I was in customer service in a call center, the person next to me had to put the customer on hold and laugh because the customer's complaint was that everything on their television looked like it was filmed through a camera.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
The same person, not the caller, but the same person next to me also got another call that they were watching a DVD and they were really pissed off because it wasn't working. So what's happening? Well, I'm watching the movie, but it's not the movie yet. Okay, what? They were pissed off because, and they literally said the phrase, "I want them to finish filming the movie so I can watch it."
Wow.
You get it now, don't you? They were watching the special features disc.
Oh my fucking god.
And they were pissed off because they had not finished filming the movie yet.
I think there's some psychedelic drugs involved in that one.
Man.
What world does that person live in?
I'm voting that we actually do a show on mushrooms. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that would work. Really. There's a context to it.
I have no experience there.
I've never done mushrooms either, and I think it would
So,
be...
it sounds dull. I don't drink. Never really developed a taste for it. And I've told people, if you don't start drinking in your teen years, you don't pick it up in your 40s until your first novel has failed.
True.
And that hasn't happened yet.
I haven't hit the 40s mark yet, but I'm very close there.
So, and then I've never done any illegal drugs. I have no interest in it. It's just not my thing. Plenty of people do. I don't really care.
Never done the weed?
No, never any interest. It's I don't have the appeal for it.
Like, I didn't think that was a thing. Like, I really didn't care about smoking weed. Like, I really didn't, like, give a shit about it, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, but whenever I actually finally got around to trying marijuana, I'm all in favor for it. Like, it was absolutely relaxing. I had never had a more pleasurable, just kind of amazingly chill experience.
I don't care that other people do. It's just not my thing.
It's relaxing up to a point, and then you have so much
that's true.
It's no longer relaxing.
Much like you prefer not to be spit roasted by two total strangers. Okay, good. It's not your thing.
Yeah.
You get it.
Is there money involved?
Well, the thing is, the other thing is, like, you know, what will you try
versus what?
What are you open to trying? And the thing is, I don't think, and this is no like judgment or anything, because you can obviously not want to try something too, and that's perfectly fine. But you really don't know altered states of consciousness until you actually have them.
Right.
So,
and you know what? I get it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. Is it an experience that I may enjoy or I may not? Yeah, it's an experience I might enjoy and I might not.
Yeah.
But do I have any interest in
trying it?
that experience? I don't.
Now, one thing you can do where you don't actually have to take any drugs is like lucid dreaming or, you know, just really intense meditation.
Like, I told my therapist.
Stuff like that.
I mean,
and you can have those altered states of consciousness without drugs.
I told my therapist about microdosing marijuana and stuff for, like, you know, for focus and all that kind of shit, and she was totally fine with it.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's one of those things. I know who I am, and I'm not judging anyone else for it. Okay, cool. But it's one of those things that people are surprised by.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting in our culture that it sounds like a radical thing for me to say that I don't drink or do any drugs.
Yeah, it does. Like,
isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I think
everyone's always like, "Oh, it's so counterculture." Apparently, I'm the weird one.
Like, that has become the new counterculture, is to not do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm mostly sober.
Like, the pendulum has just fucking swung the other complete opposite.
I'm like drug hipster.
Right.
I'm like, no, I was not doing drugs before it was cool.
Right.
I'm mostly sober, but yeah, I think there's a value in altered states of consciousness.
Like,
but with alcohol, and I think that if you're like intellectuals, I think benefit a lot more
Yeah.
with altered states of consciousness. But I personally, I can see how that wouldn't be appealing.
The thing is, I can't explain to you why it's not, nor should I have to.
Right.
But it's one of those things. It's just, I know who I am, I know what it is. That's fine. Just like when a straight guy will say, no, I have no interest in dick. I'm not going to be there trying to sell them on dick like an Amway salesman.
Right.
Are you sure?
Have you considered all of the possibilities?
You don't know till you deep throat one.
Not only that, I had an old roommate that was the same way. Never drank, never did any drugs, and then when he did, just fucking switched.
See, now I used to have
it was crazy.
I used to have hardcore thing, like a hardcore rule, like for myself. It was like, and I was involved in, of course, in the circus and in like music and all that kind of shit. So the rule was no powders, no injectables. And that was like the hard line. So everything else in between was, relative gray area. But like I still didn't really experiment all that much because I still had those Judeo-Christian principles of like, oh my God, that's so bad, don't do that. But then I was like, well, how can you know if you don't try it at least once, and all that kind of stuff. So like, and I was playing with a band at the time, and I had never done. Okay, I guess as a qualifier, I am completely and utterly afraid of needles. My first tattoo was like a complete and utter like experience in overcoming fear. Second, I can't stand shit.
Not really needles though in the same way.
Exactly, and I found out that I actually really enjoyed the pain. Like it was fantastic as fuck.
Really?
Yes.
Weird. I've got a high pain tolerance, but that was an unpleasant experience.
Yeah, dude, mine was fantastic.
Where's yours?
What's that?
Where's yours?
On my arm. And then
I don't have any tattoos.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Till you do get the hair tattoo done.
Yeah.
I can't stand.
I am getting one soon, just for.
You should do
my
that.
buddy Jason that died.
Have them on. But
Oh, nice.
I can't stand shit in my nose. So like,
then don't put it there.
and I can't swallow pills. So my mother had always joked that I would be a completely terrible druggie, and I was like, well, I guess that kind of whatever, that makes sense.
I love the fact that you have a relationship with your mom where she would say, "You'd be a terrible druggie."
My mom's pretty rad. But anyway, like, so I decided, like, I was at an after party, and the singer of the band that I was in at the time was doing a bunch of lines of Oxycontin, and and I was kind of put in that weird precarious position where like I'm fucking drunk, and then like he grabs me and takes me into the bathroom, and he's like, look here, this is what we're doing, and he's like crushing up lines of Oxy and stuff, and it was just like, wow, I feel like I'm in an after school special. I don't know what to do at this point. But I was like, you know what? How can I preach that I'm totally against this if I've never tried it? And so
what did Timmy do in the bathroom? Yeah.
So I actually did my first line of Oxycontin that night.
That's fucked up because that whole, I've never tried it, and yet it's Oxy.
Yeah.
You could have fucking...
It's true.
You could have like been to the hospital.
I did find out
first fucking time.
I know, but I in that experience though, I did find out that it was not something that I enjoyed. Like the feeling of like stuff going down your nose and all that kind of shit. And I was like, it's just like I don't like this at all. And then of course, me being me, like taking it to a complete extreme. Like we then took a couple of Vicodin and then washed it down with more booze, like a complete recipe for just utter disaster.
Yeah.
And it was at that point, it was just like, you know what? This is not something that I personally want to do. I don't condone this.
So you went full Carrie Fisher the first time?
Yeah, the first time. And then it was just like, no, not my thing. And like, it was the same, like, same.
I had kind of a weird, unique experience where I didn't do a lot of drugs, and I watched pretty much most of my friends do so many drugs to their detriment.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, well, I guess I don't ever need to touch that shit.
The first time that I did opium, like I tried opium for the first time, and that it felt so fantastic that it was like, you know what, this could potentially be a problem. So I am not going to be. This is not something I'm going to be engaging in.
There's a reason that was like a classy addict drug.
Dude, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, it was fantastic as fuck, and it was just like, you know what? Nope. Not my thing. And even weed, like I can take it or leave it. Like it really doesn't bother me. It really doesn't, like, if it's around and we're in a situation that, like,
I used to smoke
whatever.
a lot of weed. And now I'm just like
Like, I never gave a shit. I've still to this day never purchased weed in my entire life because it was always around. Like, if I wanted to smoke it, I could just go hang out with somebody. Like, I've never bought weed. And that is really weird. Considering, like, my background, like, that's really fucking weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah. It's just
neither have I, so I mean,
booze. Now, yes, I have enjoyed the drink my entire life. I don't like to get drunk to where I'm completely and utterly like falling down, passing out, fucking, ridiculous. But I do like to get a decent.
Alcohol is the worst drug anyway.
I know it is.
It's the easiest to attain.
Yeah,
and it's fucking terrible.
And that's I guess that's the problem. But like. Also, from a religious standpoint as well, like my religious background also sees alcohol consumption as being a form of what you call it?
Like rebellion?
No, not rebellion, but like community. Like, you would consume together as a form of bonding.
Yeah, I do that. I mean, bonding. I do that with food.
Yeah.
Like most people.
Yeah, but if you have a dinner with somebody, like, you kind of know them better.
It's called breaking bread for a reason.
As a PSA, if you're at the top of the Space Needle in Seattle and you try the duck, it's a fucking piece of shit. Don't eat that shit.
The chicken's not bad, though.
Yeah, your chicken jadori was pretty fucking rad.
Yeah, it was really good.
My roast duck sucked balls. It's true.
I'm not fond of duck. I have never truly enjoyed it.
Really? Dude, have you tried here in town?
I keep trying duck.
Where did you go?
I can't even tell you every place.
Okay, here in town, there's a Thai place.
But not just here, but I mean a bunch of places.
Right. Well, if you're here on is it Battlefield? Yeah, it's Battlefield. There is a place towards where the cinema was. The
Tongs is what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking Tongs duck was rad. It was fucking fantastic.
I believe I tried it.
Seriously?
It was a long time ago. It's just duck to me. It just doesn't appeal. I've tried. It's one of those things. And you know what? Mussels.
Yeah.
Are another thing that I have tried mussels so many times, and I just don't like them.
I can't do mussels. Like anything that's like slimy going down your throat, I'm not good at it.
Oh, you get used to that after a while.
Toad's not good at it.
I find duck kind of like gamey and stringy and shit. But we need to. Yeah, we should try. I should try that.
I mean, I generally find the meat, and it has nothing to do with how it's prepared.
I like deer though.
Yeah.
See, I don't really like venison. I think it's gamey, and people are like, "Oh, it's great in chili." You can put fucking cardboard in chili to be delicious.
Very true.
It doesn't matter what you put in chili; it tastes like chili.
I legitimately like just like deer jerky and deer meat.
Yeah.
So like, I like leaner, gamier meat anyway.
Lamb's also pretty good.
Are we done?
For time?
Do we got a closing bit?
I suspect we are about to have some very severe weather.
Oh shit.
FYI, 6:22
and it's already this dark.
It's 6:22 and it's green outside.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to have a tornado and completely and utterly get fucked up. So
hopefully we can post this podcast before we die.
Baseball-sized hail is what they're predicting.
And so tonight's guest was Mr. Jason here, who is now permanently invited with a open invitation to come down anytime that we're recording.
Awesome.
So
Indeed.
yeah, good times.
I get funnier when I'm better awake.
And we
same here.
Yeah. All right. Well, fuck it, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great evening and good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Contextually yours.